Hello, Sumo fans!
Happy May.
It's always nice when the May tournament comes around because the weather is good, we're outside a lot more, and it's kind of a normal tournament. You know?
Yeah, well, there's no races or runs or candidates for anything right now. It's just there's nothing in the way. It's just sumo.
Blank slate. I think maybe we need that right now because all the drama that went on before March and after March, and now it's just sort of it's settled itself a bit.
We're trying to just do sumo without a scandal.
Yeah, it's like, can you guys all like chill out? Now there were some things that happened, but you know what? I don't care.
No.
We're just gonna chill out, enjoy some sumo. A lot of guys are hurt, so I think that's gonna be sort of the X factor.
A little bit of an X factor.
So speaking of hurt, let's start at the top.
Oh,
Terunofuji, Mr. Hurt. It's do or die if he comes, unless he skips for July. So it's like, what's he gonna do?
Well, there's like this finality to the way that everybody's talking. Just like we just got to get into May. We're gonna push for May. He's talking like he's trying everything to get into May. I think when they did one of the more recent all stables practice. Like he pulled something in his abdomen now.
That's
so
bad sign,
I was just like, man. Okay, it's not the back, it's not the hips, it's not the knees. Now we're just finding new and interesting body parts to hurt because all the other ones are already hurt.
Right. It's like once one thing hurts, it's like a car.
Yeah.
Once the brakes go out, the next thing you know, it's like, it's this thing, that thing. Things you don't even know are on the car, and it's just done. It's time to get a new car. In the case of Terunofuji, just a new career.
He needs it's coming. Part of me wonders if he's just gonna hang it up. I think that he would rather do like the Kiseno Sato 04 and 11 and just like
do it.
and like give it that last try and just die on the dohyo. I think that
seems like his style.
I can't see him not going out there and trying for 10.
I really believe that he will start May and that he will retire in the middle of the tournament. I don't see him going 15 days.
I would be shocked if he goes 15 days.
It doesn't seem possible anymore. So everybody just like get your positive energy up and, really honor every second you have watching the screen because it's going to be over like that.
I do feel bad for those first 5-day opponents for Terunofuji because they're the ones who are going to get the worst of it.
He's going to break arms.
He's going to break arms. He's going to do whatever he can. No holds barred. And then you're going to have the next few days of people are just going to cash in on the broken man.
Right.
Until he gives up the ghost.
Exactly. We already have this pattern down. Unless something, insane happens.
Yeah. It would be interesting like if he just gets like stuffed full of painkillers.
Yeah.
And he just goes up there and he's just vibrating from the drugs in his body.
He goes to Tsurugisho's dealer.
Yeah, doing something like that. I feel like that's the only thing at this point.
He could possibly do that if he really is going for broke.
Goes for broke, gets everything he can possibly done to his body to survive 2 weeks.
That's a possibility.
I think that would be the curveball, or he's just like, okay, triple down on July, or it could hit a point where he's just like, it just fell apart.
Right.
And
everybody's just going to have to deal with, and when I say everybody, I mean the Yokozuna Council. They're just going to have to deal with the fact that they don't have a Yokozuna. Yeah. It is what it is.
We all knew we've been on borrowed time for like a year.
It's sort of amazing that it lasted this long.
We were talking about like when he became Yokozuna, we were like, those knees are egg timers, so let's just get it while we can.
And we got a strong Terunofuji for quite a long time.
He gave us more than we deserved.
Absolutely. I mean, to win 6 Yusho like that, come on.
Yeah, bless him. So I hope he doesn't do anything permanent to himself.
Yeah, because you do have to live after all this.
Yeah, he potentially in a year and change he'll be Isegahama.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Make everything very interesting.
It's a long year. We'll see what happens. But in any case, he may show up in May. He may destroy people. He may destroy himself. No half measures for Terunofuji.
No, it's just like scramble it all in a box and pick out one of those little papers, and it's like a fortune telling. So, the next man we have is the one who's been probably the most reliable in the upper ranks, Hoshoryu. Ozeki 1 East, up from Ozeki 1 West. This isn't the first time he's Ozeki 1 East, is it?
Let's find out.
Because I want to say this is like career high rank, but probably not.
Let's say West. He's always been West.
Ah, so this is career high.
This is career high, and also this, as we just said, Terunofuji probably is not going to last all 15 days. So that back half, he is number 1 sumo man.
This is the first time in years that it wasn't Takakeisho.
The baton is being passed.
We're seeing
May.
this in real time now.
We had Kirishima, I think was top rank.
Yes, briefly, yes.
Yeah, but like Hoshoryu is the new hotness.
Yeah, and
coming
he
up.
stayed pretty consistent.
And we're seeing that pivot, that Hoshoryu feeling it out, making it into Ozeki. Now we see him settling into Ozeki. And now he's number 2 in the world. Now he's the most stable Ozeki presence. And now
you're going to feel that pressure.
He's going to feel that pressure, and he's just going to eat it like an ice cream sundae.
I expect of all the guys here, that's what will happen. Though he does have, in the background, I'd say in the background, because he's pretty good at prioritizing, Asashoryu and his cancer diagnosis. It's probably weighing at least on the family, but as a sumo wrestler, you can sort of, hide out in your stable and focus on your stuff.
Yeah. If Asashoryu were to wake up in mid operation and call Hoshoryu, he would tell Hoshoryu to win the U show.
Yeah, he'd be like, I don't care what's happening, you better win.
You better win. So
if it was me, I would drag myself out of that hospital bed and win.
So good news for Hoshoryu is that Asashoryu would want him to do exactly what he's doing.
Right.
Which is be the best.
Right, and if he wins the whole thing, he goes on a Yokozuna run, so even if we lose Terunofuji, we have this thing that we're looking forward to.
So we do have, I'll say, 2.5, maybe 2 Ozekis who are looking upwards.
Yes.
So Hoshoryu is a super strong, and then it's like Kotozakura and Kirishima together are holding.
I got what you're
saying. They're like each of them individually isn't 100% there yet, but they're combined. They're one a little bit. Some weird math on this, but for Hoshoryu, he's got that full stake on the white rope run, but he needs performance in May.
He really does. It's put up or shut up.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, this is his chance. He's on the pedestal.
Yes.
Everyone's looking to him now. We got Kotozakura unproven, but that's what May is too.
Also,
we have Kirishima, who stumbled off the horse for reasons known and unknown, and then we go to Hoshoryu, and you're like, you're the man now.
Do something with it.
And Hoshoryu's just I've been wanting to do this.
Right. He's one of the few guys in the Banzuke where it's you tell him to do something and he wants the challenge.
He wants it. He wants more.
Yeah, it's come on, bring it. Yeah, let's get aggressive. Everybody else, you're kind of he seems kind of wishy-washy. With the exception, there are a few exceptions, but those people are hurt.
Also, those people are lower down.
Yeah.
They're not Ozeki.
And they can't.
They're not there yet.
They're
not there. They have not manifested.
Yes, this is true.
In the way that Hoshoryu is. So, Hoshoryu, officially now the man to beat.
Yes, it's all on him.
Which is fascinating. This is, like you said in May, it is all sumo going into this. And this is why. We're going to see why May is just it's going to be the pure, just, there's no stakes. It's just show me your sumo.
Yes, and we need that. We need a clean slate, a chance to just sit down, take a breath, watch a match, So I wish him the best of luck there, because he's got a guy on his tail, Kotozakura. As discussed, he finally changed his name from Kotonowaka to Kotozakura with the intention to aim for Yokozuna.
Yep, if you guys are looking for Kotonowaka on the Banzuke and you don't know where he is, he's here. It's Kotozakura. And Kotozakura was his grandfather's name. And so the story goes that little child Kotonowaka goes to grandfather Kotozakura and says, "When can I have your ring name?" And he goes to him and says, "When you become Ozeki or higher." And so here we are. The story, the prophecy has been foretold. Now, I agree with you fully. Like, changing your name to Kotozakura is a called shot.
It sure is.
It's him saying, "I'm not going to be Ozeki for long."
Right.
And it was nice that he was still Kotonowaka for one tournament.
That was a nice touch.
As a tribute, and also like really strategically kind of sneaky, because that Shinozeki energy is just so weird. You don't want to put the pressure on you out the rip.
Right, exactly.
With the whole family pedigree thing. So he's got it going on. It's definitely somebody to watch, because then what's going to happen is that Hoshoryu and Kotozakura, like, the big thing about those two guys, they're still young.
Yeah, they got plenty of time to develop into the guys they need to be, especially considering that the old guard is gone. You know, the old guard that like just trained themselves until they're like a bloody mess on the floor, they're gone, and we've ushered in a new type of wrestler, which sometimes we complain about because we're like, oh, you know, I miss some of the grit. But with none of the grit to compete with, now you have a whole Banzuke full of guys that are kind of doing it a different way, and you can be the best of those guys. You know, to forget the old generation.
We're peeling out the old.
Yeah, because in each generation that occurs, right? So when Terunofuji retired, you know, people were like, they don't make them like Terunofuji anymore, you know? When Hakuho first came on, I'm sure they weren't thinking this is the next great thing. They were like, I miss the old guys. So we're starting anew, and he has a very good opportunity to be the top of the new generation, especially with his age and, you know, having the family sumo legacy. Because obviously, like you said about the Shinozeki thing, they carefully thought that out.
I can't help but think that was in the equation.
Yeah, like they're mapping out this whole career for him, and maybe there's something to that. You know, the legacy. So we'll see.
Best thing for him is that, like, this is all outside of the name and the general Ozeki expectation. Like, when you're looking at Ozeki, like, you're looking at Hoshoryu right now.
Yes, that's who I think about.
So he is in sort of the perfect, not dark horse, but sort of can do something and nobody's watching.
He's kind of like in the sidekick role.
He is. It's a little bit.
But it's a terrible and great place to be in. It's terrible because it's like, we don't care about you. But it's great because they don't care about you. So now you can, like you said, you can do things behind the scenes and no one's watching.
No one's going to watch until week 2 when you're already 9-1.
Exactly. We know he can do that.
Yeah.
We know he can do that.
Yeah. There's not a lot of wish upon a star with him. He's becoming proven. And
he's so strong that he could really demolish if he just keeps his eye on the prize. This is not like some small guy that's like lucked into some good things. It's like he could crush you if he just leaned into it. So we'll see. I don't have any thoughts. I'm keeping my mind blank for what his results will be at this point.
He's still second Ozeki tournament still, so there's still a bit of a shaken out period for him.
Yeah.
But the way he handled Shinozeki
was impressive.
Remarkable.
Yeah, it's like a cautious optimism, because every time I really lean into like, this is the guy, something happens. So I'm just going to say he's doing good.
He's doing pretty good.
People are behind him. He's got everything he needs. Let's just go with it.
Yeah, keep an eye on him, but not both eyes. Just one. Just
a
little glance.
Sideways glance. So next we come to Takakeisho, who miraculously maintains his rank, but obviously at the cost of losing another body part, which is how this goes now with Takakeisho, unfortunately. He wanted the win so bad that he destroys his pectoral muscle.
Yeah.
Against Kotozakura. What a heartbreaking thing to have to go through all the time. It's like, I'm going to do it this time, and another body part falls off. He's not recovering from that one anytime soon. Yeah. So I don't even expect him in May.
If he shows up in May, it's because he's ready. And that's sort of what's a nice thing is,
True.
So like when he does show up in July, like he has to be there. He can't take it a sick day. But in May, he does have the Katabon sort of way out.
Right. It's like take a break. You got another shot.
Yep. Give it a couple more months. So if he does show up, he actually healed pretty well, or he thinks he can hack it.
Right.
But if he doesn't, then he's taking the rest. So it's sort of a win-win.
Yeah, I almost would prefer he not show up. No reason to destroy yourself and then go Katabon and be destroyed.
Yeah. Just make it worse for yourself in July.
It's got to be pretty hard at this point for him to maintain positivity, I would think. Every time he, exerts just a little bit more, things go wrong on the injury front. So kudos to him for being tough-minded. Because a lesser man would have plummeted by now with all the things that have happened in his sumo career.
Lesser Ozeki already have plummeted by now.
Yes, many. He has survived the gauntlet of Ozeki. And I'm just going to try to talk positively about the good things he's done because it's very painful to think about the end coming.
Yeah, I'm saying into May it's a win-win.
Yes.
If he shows up, then he's recovered better than expected, and probably not 100%, probably a little bit more scrappy plan B, plan C stuff, but positive because we didn't expect to see him. If he doesn't show up in May, it means he's taking the healing initiative.
Yes.
Letting his body rest, letting the pectoral clean up, not pushing himself. And then in July, he'll probably have one of his better chances.
Right. But when we get to July and we're talking about him, we're going to be having a much more desperate conversation.
Well, we'll be back on the Katabon train, so...
Yeah, that's my guess. So, heal up, rest up. I'm acting as if you're not going to be in the tournament in May, which will give me a little bit of a breather. Watching an injured Takakeisho is really bad for my heart, so... I kind of hope selfishly that you don't come either. And speaking of injuries, though, now we're going to talk about Kirishima. He was 5-10. He's on the Katabon train now. The thing is, it sounds like he's got both physical and mental challenges right now.
Yeah.
That's a little scary.
It was first off confirmed that he had injuries.
Yes.
And he was trying to fight through those and got a 5-10 for his trouble. He had some issues. I think he's working through them, but they're still there.
Yeah, the most recent Chris Sumo video listed a couple of injuries. I thought, like soreness anyway.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about him. I really am, because the minute he became Ozeki, we had that great situation, and then I feel like he's been battling injuries ever since.
He has been sort of beaten around a little bit more than we remember.
Yeah. Like before he was Ozeki, he had none of this stuff showing up.
Yeah. I mean, this is, you tighten.
This is the Ozeki thing.
You tighten the screw enough times and maybe it'll start stripping, even if it never did before.
Yeah, that's where we're at. It's like, welcome to Ozeki. It's a blast.
Yeah. Yeah. He, now that one loss away from the U show had to have mental. There. So the good news is, now that he's had March to sort of get it out of his system, he comes into May with a much easier goal to make, which is 8 wins.
Right.
So
just stick to that.
So again, like, you're rebuilding yourself, but at this point, like, now it's just like 8-7. That's your goalpost for Kirishima. Even an injured Kirishima
should be able to pull that.
Fairly doable. What's also nice is first week we're gonna know everything on him.
Yeah. We won't have to guess.
It's not going to be a wait and see. It's not going to be a weird drag it out to the end like with Takakeisho was, and with the 8-7 in March. It's like the first week, if he's 6-2, he's fine. He's fine. He worked through it. Also, like, the way his sumo is, when he fights injured versus when he fights crisp, it's completely different.
Yeah.
It's like you can definitely tell whenever there's anything wrong with him compared to Takakeisho, where there's always the...
Is he hurt, or is he just doing something weird?
Yeah, it's hard to read. So it's almost like it's gonna be clean cut.
Yeah.
So we don't have to belabor ourselves.
And he's got a couple of things he can do when he's hurt. Like when we talk about Takakeisho, he's injured every significant body part for his style of sumo. Neck's all busted. He doesn't have an arm to push, so he's gonna do one arm push sumo and win. I don't know. Kirishima can make some adjustments. He can adjust on the Tachi if he's having... I think he's having a neck problem, too. He can adjust on the Tachi. He can do a bunch of slick, speedy moves if he has to. He can do the endurance game. Like, there's a lot of different things he can do to try to win a match. So I feel a little bit more comfortable that he'll get his 8 wins. But we'll have to see. I mean, he's in a precarious spot at this point.
Yep. On day 8, we will know if
I
he's
hope
cleared
he's just
or not.
8-0.
Yeah, well, it's 8-0, 7-1, 6-2, no problems.
Yeah.
5-3, and then anything under that, it's gone. He's Ozekiwake.
Oh man.
It's cut and dry. It's clean.
cut and dry.
It's easy. I don't like it, but it's nice, but it's not murky. It's just
murky is getting out of hand.
you know, red light, green light, done.
Exactly.
Okay. For the record, I want a green light for Kirishima. I want him Yusho runner-up just to remind us all. That'd be nice.
Right. Just, this man was on a Yokozuna run.
Yeah.
We don't want it to fall away like this.
Don't forget.
Just shows you the thin margins between being a champion and losing.
Everything.
It's just like a hair, It's just so punishing. That's part of why we love it, but, we like to see when the good things happen. So next we have Wakamotoharu, Sekiwake 1 East, up from Sekiwake 1 West, 9-6. Highest regular rank. So, because the Ozeki Yokozuna thing is not normal.
This is as high as you can get without needing a resume and an interview.
There you go. But he's got to start all over again. He went from being an Ozeki candidate to kind of dropping out, then pulling himself back up. He's having a crisis of some sort. He did have some illnesses. That impacts you. He had a little bit of maybe injury trouble. It would be nice if he's just coming in his normal self, because then he could do some things.
Yeah. Well, he could and he can't, because his normal thing is 9-6.
Well, yeah. I'm not saying he can go on a run. He might just stall out.
Well, this is sort of what is going to be his problem, is that he's consistent, but he's not Yusho candidate.
Right. You have to be consistently great, not consistently consistent.
Exactly. Like, so he is like now the mantle of like the Sekiwake syndrome. And, Takanosha went through this. Meisei went through this. Mitakayumi went through this until he figured it out, and then he unfigured it out. Daisho technically is still going through this. He's on the downside, maybe on the upside. And so the problem for Wakamotoharu is, if he wants Ozeki, his window for getting it is closing on his fingers.
Yes. Better hope he has a good grip.
We're gonna look down. Like, you can see, you can look at all the people on the screen. Over half of them are Sanyaku material. Mm-hmm. There's 4 slots, guys. Maybe 8 if they want to bloat it out again.
But that never lasts.
So this is Wakamotoharu's problem now is that if he wants to get to Ozeki, he's got to put the pedal down. Mm-hmm. Like, he needs to push it through the floor of the car.
He actually has probably the most pressure on him besides Hoshoryu in terms of, you got to do something in this tournament.
He's got to do something. He's gonna get left in the dust by these young whippersnappers.
Because some of them are gonna do something in this tournament.
Yeah. Well, oh my God. This is a weird spot. Like, we were talking about how the top has been weak.
Yeah.
And then the top was strong and the bottom is weak. Like, now the top is strong and the bottom is strong.
Right. And so you just kind of have everybody getting crunched like a sandwich in the middle.
This is, yeah.
Beat up on the middle guys.
It's like you watch those videos, like the slow-mo videos, like they put some really piece of metal in one of those metal presses, and you just watch it and you hear it it looks like you don't know what's going to break.
Yeah, that would be this Banzuke.
Yeah, and Wakamotoharu is stuck in the middle of it.
It's like, get out, man, while you still can.
Well, here's the thing. He's in this weird spot that just doing another 9-6 is still remarkable, but congratulations, you've gone nowhere.
Exactly.
The typical Sekiwake problem. Mm-hmm. Where do you go from here?
And somebody below you has gotten stronger while you have stayed consistent.
And faster and up comes now. There's a couple more new hotnesses coming in from
There's always somebody coming in.
There's two more. There's Toki Hayate and you got Oshoma.
Yep. There's always somebody else coming in.
So now they're coming in. They're barking. We'll see how they do.
We'll see how it goes.
But I'm looking at him. I was like, I love how stable you are, but they're coming after you.
Being stable in the middle is the only spot. Like, if you're just salary man, 9 to 5, like a Takerufuji did for a long time, that's good. But if you're Wakamotoharu, that's bad.
Yeah, like I look at Wakamotoharu, and then I look at like Meisei. Meisei's pretty reliable, pretty stoic. He's 6'9". He's falling away. He can't handle it.
He can't
through no fault of his own, it seems.
Right. It's like, this is just what it is, man.
Yeah. Then you go to Wakamotoharu, and you're just like, you're standing in the middle of the fire line.
Yeah. What are you doing?
So, and also where this becomes interesting is that it's not out of the question for him to go to all these young hotshots and say, I was here first.
Right. Maybe it'll fire him up. That's the hope, anyway.
Show me May. Show me May.
Show me May. Which brings us to our next guy, Abi. Sekiwaki 1 West, up from Komusubi 1 East, 9-6. Got this 9-6 thing going.
Yep.
So, Sanyaku Kachikoshi has been a while since I think Abi's done that.
He's been up and down.
Up and down thing. So he's sort of making these incremental steps to make a statement. But he is somewhat of an unstable guy.
He's unstable.
So...
He's also like these two guys. They have the exact same problem. Like Wakamotoharu is having trouble bringing up Abi. I don't know if I can ever see him as Ozeki now.
I don't either. I feel like it's run out.
The
magic has run out.
I wouldn't say it's impossible for him, but he needs to show something new. And so so you go to Abi and you're like, congratulations, you're about to enter the worst grind.
Yeah.
Mr. Unstable, Mr. Needs something.
And you're going to just get stuck.
He's stuck? What are you going to do?
What new thing truth be told, I don't know if it's possible. But Abi with those long arms, if he started to throw, I mean, he could really do something if he started to throw.
If he picks a new trick out, that would be the little thing that can get him a little higher.
Like if you just goaded somebody into a crazy slap fest and then just grabbed the belt and chucked him.
Pusher thrusters have been starting to do this. It's not unprecedented.
Right. And it works. They don't see it coming, even though they know it's possible. They just don't see it coming. It's so easy in a fight, actually, to goad somebody into doing something that they don't want to do, to fighting your game.
Mm-hmm.
And Abi's like a master at the mind games. So if he could just throw that in every once in a while,
The boat, you look at Abi, you look at Wakamotoharu, you're just like, okay, yeah, they earned being there. But do you really want to be there?
Right? What do you want with your life?
You have Onosato coming after you. You got multiple Fujis coming after you.
So many Fujis.
You got
step Fujis now too.
Yes, yeah, honorary Fujis.
There's just the Fujis are gonna come in and just swallow you.
Yeah, all this sumo's been so good we've forgotten about Hakuoho, but he's still there.
I know.
He's still there.
He's got to recover a little bit.
Don't forget. He's November. He's there. He's on the screen.
Yeah.
Guys, Abi, are you gonna be an Ozeki by then?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't have a whole lot of faith in Abi. I hate to say that, but we haven't seen anything new from him. Not since he came back.
Yeah, it still does mean something to hold ground in Sanyaku with all this mess going on. I'm just looking at these two guys and I'm like, it feels like the best case scenario for them is nothing happens, which sucks.
Right. It's like, oh, whippy, let's have a party for my 9-6, you know?
This is where it really starts to get rough.
Mm-hmm. Especially with the guys below them.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about that. Of course, the first guy below them is not going to be much of a threat at all, unfortunately. Asanoyama, Komusubi 1 East. The man finally makes it to Sanyaku again. And he's so hurt, there's just no way he's going to be in the
I think
tournament.
it's MCL pull or something like that.
He's just like the Terunofuji thing. His body's falling apart the same way. He gets a new injury in a new spot every other day. And I think it's because he's overtraining. but he wants to get back, so he feels like he has to, but he lost. I can't overstate this. He lost his best 2 years of his career.
Well,
Can't get them back,
you
so
can't.
you can't just like overtrain. You got to be a little patient. But I don't think it's gonna happen. He's gonna drop so far if he doesn't come into this tournament. He finally he is the Shakespearean tragedy.
It will take him another 2 tournaments to get back to Sanyaku.
And that's if he doesn't hurt himself again.
If he doesn't hurt himself again, if he's able to show up for twice.
Ay.
It's a problem. Something that struck me as really odd. Another Chris Sumo video, they were interviewing his Oyakata, and Oyakata mentioned about Asanoyama can take his time because he's still young.
What a strange statement.
That cringy face that you just made is how I felt when I heard that too.
It's like he's not young.
He's like 29, 30. Like he's.
What is young to you?
I don't know what that meant. I don't know if that was them saying Asanoyama isn't as injured as we think, but like he's racking up them injuries. I don't know. I was thrown off by that.
Yeah, didn't make any sense.
Maybe
like,
somebody.
Are you sure you translated that right?
Maybe somebody knows something that I don't that could shed some light on that. But
yeah, that was. I had the exact same reaction. I'm like, what am I listening to? Because this is not true. Asanoyama is not that young.
Yeah, but Asanoyama, there is a chance, unfortunately, that he hobbles himself into the ring and gets slaughtered.
I could see him doing it.
It's sort of the same thing as Takakeisho, that you almost don't want them to show up, but unlike Takakeisho, Asanoyama doesn't show up in May and he loses 6 months of work.
Yeah, the honest, this is the first time that I have felt worse for somebody other than Takakeisho,
It's
because
so rough.
Takakeisho at least has kept his Ozeki rank through all of this nonsense. Asanoyama's crawling and scraping and bleeding, trying to get back to Sanyaku, and that, like you said, takes away all that work.
Takes it all away.
All
so
those
rough.
injuries were for nothing.
We talked about how in March they dumped him on one. We're like, oh, they could have put him in Sanyaku, and they didn't.
They should have. They should have, man.
Nah.
They don't care. I'm sad. I'm
bad.
sad for him.
It's a bad scene, but
It's
maybe
like a car accident.
Maybe he shows up and he can scrape a few wins without completely destroying himself. Get like a 5-10, pushing the fall.
If he got a 5-10, he could stay at least in. Like maybe it would only take. I don't know. He's.
There's no
happy story. Here.
There's not a lot of light in this one. It's a bit rough.
Well, what can I say? Best of luck.
Best of luck.
Try to stay strong. And then I have to remember. Yeah, he's not so young, but at least he's. Nah, I got nothing.
Got nothing on this
I'm trying. I got nothing. This is just sad.
We're just gonna have to show up and see what happens.
Yeah.
And probably not feel good about it.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on to Onosato, which, boy, is there a whole lot of stuff going on with Onosato. Komusubi 1 West, up from Megashire 5 West, 11-4. He flies. He's going so fast in a Sanyaku. So when you're watching a guy catapult up like that, you get really excited. But the real test of the character doesn't happen until you hit Sanyaku. We always talk about the Sanyaku curse. We always talk about how it's a little different up here. And for Onosato, like, this is going to be welcome to the big leagues, like the big leagues. Right. No AAA for you.
Yeah. No, they gave him, and they got Takerufuji. They gave him all those special prizes. He was Yusho runner-up. He did prove himself by getting another 11-4 at 5 West.
Yeah.
Which is that is itself a big accomplishment.
Right.
So I feel like he's ready for it. But I don't know if
you can't be ready until you go through it, though.
I don't know if he understands what's going to happen to him.
Especially, certain angry folk like Hoshoryu who have a lot to prove.
They have a lot to prove.
They might hammer him a little bit. If Terunofuji wouldn't face him unless he made it all 15 days, so he'll probably be safe there. But he's also got his own like little scandal thing in the background, and the only reason I bring it up is he's had to take a more low-key... He's not getting celebrated like he was. They're kind of making him hold back and stuff on tours. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that'll take a little bit of the pressure off that he's like not allowed to go out and celebrate his stuff in the same manner.
That will help a little bit. It also will help that assuming Takerufuji shows up, he's going to be the hot dog number one.
Everyone will be going for him.
Yeah.
Because part of the problem with the Sanyaku curse is the immense pressure that comes with it.
And the expectation.
And you get all these extra fan club members and more donations, and you feel like, I have to fight for them. And don't do that. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Doesn't...
It's an X factor whether or not it helps him or hurts him.
It depends on the person.
It depends on the person. I think I would be inclined to agree with you that it may help a little bit, that he has to go in there maybe a little bit more humble.
Right, and a little bit more introspective, and, he's got to realize, like, oh, man, I could have been in serious trouble and lost this spot, and I have it, so he'd be a little more grateful. Mm-hmm. Maybe just, like, kind of spin it all together in a way that he can survive. At the very least.
Yeah. So the big news is, allegedly, he finally has enough hair to do the itty bitty like man bun mage thing.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. I hope that's true.
No more battle mullet, but
the battle mullet.
It always looks weird when they make it to the top division. They don't have enough hair.
Yeah, it's
to
like
do it.
They don't look like they belong.
They look like they snuck in.
Yeah, they're like, did you get security? Like, who's this guy? Yeah, it's time, Onosato, to have the little tiny sprit of hair.
Yeah, I was thinking about it the other day. I'm just like, how fast does the hair grow? Like, how much hair do you need for it?
You probably need a decent amount of hair, but how do you make it grow?
Is there like a well, I know there's hair growth stuff, but like, is there like an accelerator?
I wonder that myself, actually.
Maybe like get a lot of ginseng in your Chanko, and then you get an extra half inch a month. Like,
I know. I'm sure at the very least there is like a thing where people try stuff.
There's gotta be.
They're gonna be like, this special herb, this plant grown in this part of the soil. It's Japan. They're farmers. There's got to be some stuff out there.
I don't think it's a rabbit hole I'm gonna jump down, but I'm like, I wonder.
Maybe it'll show up in one of those many sumo shows on NHK.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Or I'll send an email to Hito and say, hey, Hito. Got any? Yeah. This is a cool story you could throw into one of your specials.
Sumo Primetime about hair.
Yeah, we care, right?
Let's do it.
Well, did you see the hair combing doing one that they did? It was like they did a whole 15 minutes on it, and they had some really cool music in the background. And I sat there and watched the whole thing.
Yeah, it was a time lapse video or something like that.
Yeah, and I was like, this music is just stellar, and I'm just like, I'm feeling calm. So, we might like it.
Pull on the hair, though. I'd start screaming.
I mean, they're really...
They're yanking.
They are.
I'm just like, you're going to tear his scalp off,
and then they get the string, and they are tying it tight. It's like, man, they got, some serious muscles to do hair.
Yeah.
So, Onosato...
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
You're going to need it. You're going to need it. So, now we have one of the Fujis. It's time to talk... Well, we talked about Teru, but... It's time to talk about the lesser Fujis. Atami Fuji, Maegashira 1 East, up for Maegashira 2 East, 8 and 7. So he's up and down. He's lost a little bit of that spark.
Yes.
Like we're talking about Onosato here, where he's just like rising up. Atami Fuji was doing that, and then bam,
he hit a wall.
So he's trying to come back.
He's coming back now. He's inching forward, and so where he is, if he gets an 8 and 7. He's in.
Right.
He's in Sanyaku. He's going to find a spot. Maybe not the way he wanted. And it is also, he's in an interesting spot now with all these new hot shots. Like, here's the new hotness.
It's and like, forget about you, dude.
So he's in a spot where they're like, here's Takerufuji coming out over there. So that's the Fuji everyone's talking about. And here's Onosato. He's the new one in the Sanyaku, and so like everybody's talking about everybody else. We were mentioning about this with Kotozakura. It's just like if that expectation to perform is something that keeps you down, he's in a spot where he can sort of start doing his own thing.
Right, just get out of the limelight and forge his own path, and
he could if he's turning into those like battle of inches kind of guy, then an 8 and 7, a 9 and 6. I mean, that's all he needs, and he's in there too.
Right. I mean, for him, it's okay to stay consistent.
Yes.
He's still on the upward climb.
He's on the upward climb. He's not Sakiwaki.
Exactly. So, in a couple of tournaments, if he's Mr. Consistent, we might have to, talk differently about this. But right now, this is good.
Him and Wakamotoharu could become drinking buddies.
Yeah. Just hang out and be like, what is wrong with our sumo? Oh, no. So, we'll see. I think there's a little bit of trouble with the shoulder.
There may be some injury thing. He's always taped all up.
He's very taped.
Very taped up. I don't know how much of it is preventative, but normally you want no tape.
Right. And the thing is, if you're allowing the tape to be seen, it's like serious enough. Like if you don't want people to know you have a problem. So like to have as much tape as him, it's like it's either not a problem and he's putting you in a false sense of security, or it's like, I need this or I can't fight.
Yeah.
And I'm inclined to think it might be that. But we'll see. There's a young guy, I think. There's one guy who's not a young guy that I keep calling a young guy, and that is Chirana Umi. He's like newer into the top division, but he's 30, and I keep calling him a young guy, and it's like, no, he's not
just
young.
New to us.
Yeah, it's like, well, you're new to the 42.
Exactly.
But you're the same age as Asanoyama.
About that.
So anyway, any thoughts on Takerufuji as far as what you think he'll do?
He's gonna. He just needs to keep doing what he's doing, frankly, and he's coming into his own. He is eking out these wins in a very, very competitive environment. Now, the Fuji advantage is
having to fight the Yokozuna.
Significant. You don't have to fight the Yokozuna, and he has two teammates up here, with Midori Fuji as well as Takerufuji.
Right.
So those are two tough opponents you don't have to fight. And those are also two people that can pull you aside and say, oh, yeah, when I was fighting Daisho, I noticed that his right hand didn't really hit me as hard as I remember, so maybe put into that.
Ah, yeah, that's true. He's got quite the advantage being in Isegahama.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then there is the added X factor of the Isegahama double stable feature going on right now.
Right, so you don't fight any of those guys. Not that they're... Yeah. I don't think any of them are up in the
but
top
like
division.
There's a constant mention of it being spirited practice bouts because there's so many good dudes all after each other.
There was already good dudes. And
already
then you have
dudes.
the fact that Hakuho is actually in there training them constantly now.
They mentioned in one of the more recent things that like he was doing grappling stuff with the Takerufuji.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, now,
yeah.
if that...
You see,
it's funny because it's bad for Hakuho, but boy, are these Fuji boys getting like a real treat.
Hakuho is really taking us on the chin, which is what we hoped he would do.
Well, it makes a stronger man if you can overcome adversity. Even things that really stink, maybe things that are unfair, things that are wrong. If you can overcome them, you become a stronger man, and you can do anything. You gotta have your challenges. So you might make Takerufuji the next Yokozuna.
Takerufuji with a little bit of Hakuho, with a little bit of Takerufuji, and then hopefully just building confidence and technique from just being here and doing it himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thought.
So he's got a lot of things working for him. Unlike our next guy, Daisho, who is just hurt.
My heart breaks.
the two friends, Takakeisho and Daisho. Daisho's getting pretty beat up. He's not beat up in a way where he can't do sumo anymore, thankfully. But he can't do sumo at the level he wants to do it at this point.
I was remembering back a couple years ago, maybe even more, like when we were starting to do the stream, like we would see Daisho up here, and then like he popped into Sanyaku, and I'm sort of just like, enjoy this while you can. He's not gonna last. He's not Sanyaku material. I love him. And now we're looking at it present day, where he was like the go-to Sanyaku guy, and it's the one time he does bad and they kick him out after almost a year. Well,
that's the other part of this Sanyaku curse thing is, you stay consistent, do bad, you're out.
Yeah, and so him and Wakamotoharu, who have sort of been two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
So I was mentioning Wakamotoharu, like he has to fight tooth and nail just to stay where he is. Daisho has to fight tooth and nail to get back to where he was.
And then somehow ascend and be better to get to the next rank. Like,
while being beat up. It's
insurmountable at this point.
It's a rough. So one West, he gets an 8-7, maybe a 9-6, and then he can sort of squeak his way back in. But now he's got to compete with all this.
Yeah.
All this. And he doesn't have the benefit of being in Sanyaku already.
But you are going to have that Komusubi spot that opens up with Asanoyama because...
Well, we're going to have the Asanoyama. That's probably going to open up, I would think, between Wakamotoharu, Abi, and Onosato. One of those three people are not going to be able to hack it.
Yeah, I think so, too. I'd be shocked if all three of them maintained.
I'm not going to... I can't tell you which of those three are going to fall down, but it's like all three of them I don't think are going to make it in. So there's going to be room.
Yeah.
Going to be room. And then there's going to be room for see everybody on the monitor right now.
Well, yeah. It's like Daisho has to compete with the guys ahead of him and the guys behind him. Some hungry men behind him.
It is.
One of my favorite stories, though, was one of the Chris Sumo videos, and Takakeisho wasn't on the tour, and Daisho's like, I'm so bored without him here.
Oh.
It's like, I love the friendship. It's like so nice.
It is so true. Like you go to a party, you're out of town, you're the bunch of people that you sort of know, you don't like the music.
Yeah.
and then you text your friend, he's just like, I can't make it. And you're just like,
no. Why am I here? I don't want to be here. I want to go hang out with you. What are you doing?
I know.
Oh, this is work? Crap.
I know. He goes to Oyakata. He's like, can I go to Takakeisho? He's like, get back out there. Do foot stamps for people.
But Takakeisho's playing video games again. I don't care.
I don't care.
It'll be good for my dexterity. Get out there.
Start throwing around the unranked people. Let's get it out of your system.
If you get at least 5 wins, I'll let you text him.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that friendship keeps me alive with my sadness.
Yeah. There's a lot of people I go to them and be like, good luck in May.
Yeah.
I want you to win, but man.
I know.
I want it.
You want miracles, pretty much. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see. That's all I'm going to say about Daisho. I don't know. Next, we have the surprise of March, Hiraumi. Surprise in the sense that it wasn't working for so long, but not a surprise in the sense that everybody expected him to sort of have a breakout. And finally, he had a breakout. He rose up from Maegashira 4 West to Maegashira 2 East with a 9-6.
Career high.
He's building momentum with stronger sumo, sturdier defense, and now he's got to try his luck.
Now he's in there. Yeah. So for Hiro to Umi, it's sort of just like, wow, you made it. Nice. So something that may be going in his way. So during the tour, Terunofuji did a whole lot of not fighting. Did the ring entering ceremony, did exercises, did chest letting, stuff like that. A little more towards the end of it, he does a little bit of like light fighting, light training, and he picks Hiro to Umi for it. That has got to be a confidence booster.
Absolutely.
And because I think Terunofuji was like, I'm looking for one of those younger guys that are hitting pretty hard.
Right.
And so
see how I can take it.
See how I can take it. And now it was very much under the Yokozuna's, under his terms. You sort of, it was, it's the practice
very
fighting. It's a very controlled environment, but for Hiro to Umi to get chosen in that way, I feel like that has to be a big plus for him.
Absolutely. I was thinking about this the other day, like we are not professional sumo wrestlers, so we go about our day and we have these like little things that happen. And it's like the greatest thing that ever happened. Like, oh, your boss says to you, good job. And you're like, that's right. I did do a good job. And then you just like increase it as like a professional sumo wrestler being called out by the Yokozuna, the top sumo wrestler in the world. How much more is that a thrill than like our everyday excitements,
Yeah, he didn't get beaten to a pulp either.
Exactly. It's like you actually survived.
He survived it.
He didn't call you out when he was in better shape. It's just the best of both worlds.
It is.
He didn't hakuho you into the ground like Hakuho would do with all the new guys. I mean, he punished every single guy he got in the ring with. If you go back and watch those old All Stables practices, oh, he was so brutal.
Hakuho is just a different animal. Still is a different animal.
Yeah, he really does like march to his own beat. There's no question about it, but
So in this just absolute like murderer's row, here's Hiro to Umi making waves somehow.
And now he knows he's a smart guy. He's a good fighter. He knows he's just got to bring it.
He's got to bring it
every day, and he's just got to figure out a way to get through the next match. He's got some tools to work with. Just go for it.
I'm excited.
Got nothing to lose.
That's the mentality. It's just like, what's gonna happen? He's just gonna get knocked back to where he was.
Right, and if he does good, it's like, hey, look at
yeah,
that guy.
yeah. This is the flip side to Daisho and Wakamotoharu is that like you win, you get nothing. You lose everything. For him, he's just like, well, yeah.
Highest rank. If I go back to my regular rank, whatevs.
He's playing on house money. What does he care?
Exactly. So it's not the worst thing to be him.
No, it's not the worst.
Next, we have Gonoyama. Just adjust this. 10-5. So he gets a nice jump from Maegashira 6 West to Maegashira 2 West. So he was in that first wave. I keep calling it the first wave, but it's like we're trying to talk about recent memory here.
Yeah.
First wave of new hotness. And then he got sort of, thrown about because other new guys came in, particularly Haku Oho came in shortly after and made a big wave. And we forgot about Gonoyama a little bit. But I feel like none of the wrestlers ever forgot him because there's just a way that they approach matches with him that you feel like you can see in them that they're extra determined. They're waiting for something. They're expecting something. Maybe it's the power output. That's my guess. And even like the Yokozunas like to mess around and the Ozekis. So he's sort of reclaiming his new hype hotness again. But still, look at where he's at. He's not in Sanyaku.
Yet.
He's doing sort of the slow climb.
He was at 6 West, now at 2 West. Another 10-5. Even at 9-6, he's in there.
Right. He's so close now. He can touch it.
It has been so weird because like we're talking about Kotozakura. It's just like people aren't really paying attention to him. Maybe he'll get the use. This could be good for you. We're talking about a Fuji. We're just like spotlights off of you to all the other Fujis or people are talking about. Maybe this little confidence booster. Then we go to Gonoyama and I'm like, you're forgetting about him? Are you insane?
Right.
Guys, do you forget about a train when the lights start flashing?
Right.
Don't forget about the train.
Get across the tracks.
Get across the tracks, man. So I'm almost scared for everyone else that they're letting him slip under the radar. It's like he doesn't slip anywhere.
I really want to see him and Onosato fight. That I really like the output of power. And I think Gonoyama's got that grit in him. You can tell just based on the rivalry he has with Hoshoryu, which it's going to be. We're going to
get that. So this is sort of where
good matches.
This is where we're no longer about the expectation of the Uzeki rank. We're not scared about being Sekiwaki. Like now we're just down to fighting. Mm-hmm. Now it is pure shonen anime. It's that moment in the beginning of the Cell Saga where Vegeta holds up the number 7 and he goes and he looks at Goku in the ice and you're just like, yeah! That we're getting that kind of energy.
Yeah, that's definitely the energy.
So we got Gonoyama. It's like he's gonna fight Onosato. He's gonna fight the Ozeki. He's gonna fight all these people. He's gonna fight Itami Fuji. He's gonna fight Takerufuji. We all want that. He's gonna fight Tobizaru. It is gone from the pressure of the rank to the excitement of the amount of sumo talent that is surging up.
Exactly. Like at the end of the day, we could talk about rankings. We can talk about all that prestige. We just want to see a good fight.
We want to fight.
Like that's how you feel when you watch an Ura match. You're not like, oh, what rank is he? You're like, yes, Ura, we're gonna get a good fight.
Yes,
it's gonna be the best 30 seconds ever.
Get exciting, and this has been 2021, 2022. You sort of have to pick and choose the matches you got excited about.
Yeah, that's true.
A little bit here and there, particularly when we had the lame duck Yokozuna season.
And we had no crowd sometimes.
No crowds, that sucked.
I can't even remember like what matches actually made me super excited when there was no crowd to hype it up more.
It was like also it felt weird. It was
like a practice session.
Almost a little bit. That had its own little energy, but now Now we got the crowds. Now we've got the talent, and like now, like you'll look at the day's matches, and you're just like, I want to see that. I want to see that. I want to see that.
It's like going to an ice cream shop and looking at the menu, and you're like, do I get the soft serve or do I get the sundae?
It's Sunday.
I don't know. Can I have both?
I know.
Can I have a soft serve sundae?
You'd be like, I know I shouldn't have had a big lunch.
Oh man, that is gonna be Sumo in May for sure.
Gonoyama, bring it.
Please bring it.
Remind these people.
Like, knock some people into the first row, especially Tobizaru. And not because I'm certain listeners will agree with that. But my reason is Tobizaru looks great when he flies out of the ring.
Oh, man.
So Gonoyama, launch him into the third row, and I'll be happy.
Very good.
Great. So, now we'll go to Takayasu. Maegashira 3 East, up for Maegashira 8 West, 11-4. So when he shows up, and he's not injured in any way, he's like the man.
He's the man.
And he just hangs around, like, you show contention, and he makes you think, oh, maybe this time. But then the very next tournament, he's like, oh, my back hurts.
Yeah, he's had 3 or 4 double-digit wins in the last year. The reason he's not up there is because he'll get these Makikoshis from injuries, or he'll have to sit out.
Well, there's 2 things that plague him. One is the persistent back injury, and he's had that a long time. That's why he couldn't stay Ozeki. But then he's always getting sick. He has to drop out all the time for fevers, and that's been going on since way back when he was Ozeki. So, physically, Takayasu is just like a roller coaster.
It's a little bit, but when
he's healthy, he's healthy, and when he's not, everything goes wrong.
Everything goes wrong. It's a weird state for him, because I had remembered sort of like these these scraping by things, but then I was looking over at his rankings, just like, wait, he's been kicking ass,
right? Because you can't remember what Takayasu you saw.
You don't
remember like the last
together.
moment. Exactly. It's like, was that the Takayasu who like just grabbed the guy and threw him, or was that the Takayasu who like fell on his face because he broke his toe? Like, who are you, man?
Well, it's a weird thing, because this whole mystery thing is just like, it is out of his control.
Yeah, it's not like he can predict it.
Yeah, you go to him on any day. It's like, you want to fight? He's just like, yup.
Right. You're like, okay, I guess he's gonna do this today.
Yeah.
So I mean, with his pattern, May almost looks like it's gonna be a bad tournament.
Maybe. I don't
mean like he's just gonna lose, but like he's gonna get strep throat or something.
Oh God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
like,
it
he
does
gets
feel
all
that
the
way.
illnesses that no one else gets.
It does feel that way. Like he's just he'll wake up, and then like he'll have pretzel back.
Yeah. And be like, oh, this tournament's over. And then he'll come out in July, and it's like,
reckon
he loses in in a playoff.
Yeah.
Against Abi again.
Oh my God.
Abi accidentally punched him in the chin and nobody caught it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
so,
that's his kind of luck.
We just don't know with him. I can't ever predict him, and we already retired him from being picked as Yusho winner.
By us. Everybody else can do it.
Yeah, you guys do what you want, but we have to like maintain some level of stability in our lives. And so now we get to talk about everybody's favorite wrestler, Tobizaru, because we know everybody just thinks he's the greatest. And he is. He's just amazing. Tobizaru, Maegashira 3 West, up from Maegashira 4 East with an 8-7. Before I talk about his wrestling, I must say, he is a bane to every single guest of Banzuke. Because you just never know. Especially if he has a record that's 8-7, it's like, is he going to maintain his rank? Is he going to go way higher than he should? If he gets a 7-8, is he going to like not go as low as he should? The man's a nightmare.
It's an enigma.
Yeah. Who knows what's going on with that? But anyway. So, he's Mr. Scrappy back and forth. And it's funny because I've been asked, what kind of fighter is Tobizaru? And when asked, I couldn't give a clean answer like pusher thruster or, an Oshi guy. I had to be like, well, he's kind of just like, just goes out there and does stuff.
No, Scrappy's what I would use.
Scrappy's the best
Scrappy's
one for
what I
it.
wrote down.
Because he is kind of like, he's kind of reaching for the Mawashi, but he's also kind of slapping. He's just trying to like get angles and
spin
around you.
He's a weird trickster. Like, one of his new bags of tricks is to fight you clean.
Right. You're not expecting that.
And so, like, he's particularly last tournament, he did a lot of just like pure chest to chest grit sumo. He did push sumo and blasted people out.
That's kind of where I was headed with that. Is he started off as like, I can't describe him to like being a regular sumo wrestler.
He became very disengagey. He would parry you, he would slap you down, he'd outmaneuver you. He wouldn't fight you head on. It was that sort of a trickster kind of a person. And then he would just get into like slap fights with you.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But now he's sort of embracing this more traditional approach, but still doing the crazy stuff.
Right. So if he gets his act together, he's gonna just keep rising. Like if he puts the two together in such a way that he can decide what the match is gonna be and not the opponent, like if he's proactive instead of reactive, he might get some more success. Yeah. Like if he's dictating, okay, this is the match we're having today.
Keep in mind he was Sanyaku.
Yeah.
So it's possible for him. Like when he got up to Sanyaku, it was pretty decisive.
Yeah.
He didn't stick to Sanyaku curse, just threw him right back out, but I would say he has as much of a chance of getting in there as anyone else on this list.
Oh, absolutely.
So particularly if you look past him, that's the thing that I think he takes advantage of the most. And like you were mentioning, he does all this stuff as a way of dictating the pace and taking your mind out of your sumo.
Right. It's like, I have to, like, what is this crazy guy doing? Like, I have to, you get drawn into his type of match, which is not your type of match. So now you're like scrambling around like a crazy person. Like, what am I doing? Like, just knock him out. And by then he's come up with
He's figured you out.
Yeah, he's come up with some crazy way to beat you. Especially because, it's the endurance factor as well. If you lose your energy in the beginning of the fight, you're doomed.
He toughs it out too. His secret weapon is that grit.
Yeah, absolutely.
More than the weird actually gonna fight you clean thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like he must have some really good lung capacity, for instance. Yeah. Some of our other guys do not. So now we're gonna talk about Oho. Maegashira 4 East. He only gets dropped down from Maegashira 3 East, so the 7 and 8, this was a, normal demotion. We discussed this in the recap show, his record didn't exactly reflect his tournament, but it did at the same time. He had moments of greatness, like, oh, is this the guy who we're supposed to be hyped about? And then he had moments of like, oh, it's Oho again. Yeah.
That 7 and 8, like it should have been a double digit in one way or the other.
Right.
So the fact that he got a 7 and 8 was shocking, particularly at 3 East. Or like, this guy's gonna get blasted out, and he's 7 and 8. It's just like, oh,
right.
It's like what you do when you fight here normally.
Right.
It was weird.
It was like you at the bottom fighting people.
Yeah.
And you just transferred it up to the top. So we're in the second tournament. We always talk about it takes 2 tournaments to actually show a pattern. So we're unsure. We don't know what kind of Oho we're going to see. And he hasn't changed in rank that much. So he's going to have a similar journey.
Yeah. And so at this point, I'm just sitting back and I'm just like, Oho, you're surf. Yeah. You have my attention.
I will keep an eye on you.
Yeah. I'm not
like going to get a snack when your match is on. I was sometimes.
Yeah. I will not condemn. I'm like, oh, he's going to fall down. But also at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Meet me halfway.
Exactly.
Meet me halfway.
So we're giving him some credit after lots of,
Yeah. I feel there's still a lot of collective frustration in the room.
There is. That's not going to go away until he starts winning.
Until he gets that second consecutive good performance.
Well, because we want, like everybody else, we want an Oho to be in with Hoshoryu and with Kotozakura. We want to see these legacy families fighting each other. And Oho's messing it up.
We want that grandson versus grandson. I think a lot of people, they love that pedigree thing. They love it.
And here's the thing. Oho is young.
He's way young.
Yeah, he's not Asanoyama young. That's going to be a running thing. Okay? Because Asanoyama is not young, all right? But
I'm looking forward to it personally.
Yes, he'll have some good matches too. He's sandwiched between Tobizaru and Ura. So you got quite the little trio going on here. Those 3 guys, And they're all going to fight each other, so
let's see it.
We'll see. You know, I want to have more to say about him at the end of this tournament. I want to have actual things to point out that he did in the positive.
We do. So we'll be talking about him, either the good stuff that he did and how he's finally living up to his potential, or we're just gonna rag on him.
Yeah, expect it.
There's no in between now.
No.
The March recap was like, I was wrong. We're gonna give him the credit. This is looking pretty good. Now it's either gonna be, look at this guy, he's pretty cool, or get him out of my face.
I don't want to talk about this.
No, bad news.
Let him go all the way to the bottom.
All the way down.
Sorry, but that's the cross you have to bear if you're gonna be a grandson of a champion. So
I'm not. Either way, I'm gonna have fun doing it. So
yeah, it'll be fun.
Thanks in advance, Oho.
Now, speaking of fun, we have our man Ura. Everybody in all of sumo fandom would have to say he is fun.
He's fun.
I mean, just everything about him, his personality, his style of sumo. Even I was watching, just Chris Sumo highlights, and he'll have the practice sessions. And here's Ura, like, flying out of the ring and doing, like, one of those practice flips on the concrete. I'm like, what is going on with you?
He's out of his mind at all times.
He's just a wacky dude. And so, like, I don't want him to leave sumo, don't get me wrong. But I do also look forward to the days when he's out of sumo and he can just say and do what he wants. Because he'll still be entertaining. But getting to his sumo, he had a 6-9. I don't even remember that. Don't care.
That march, it's like that the Ura march phenomenon. Yes. I think I will remember that more than anything else that happened. Mm-hmm. I was just like, Takerufuji record-breaking Yusho, just like, I mean, I guess.
But what did Ura do?
But what did Ura, exactly? Did you hear the crowd when he beat Kirishima? Come on.
The crowd was just, you can feel it in the room. When Ura's about to fight, everybody, the hype level goes up 10 notches. Oh, yeah.
The 10th man.
He can do whatever he wants, and they're going to be like, yeah! Or, no! Like, it's just, I am watching through a screen, and I'm, like, ready to jump out of my seat. I'm like, yes! Everything he does is great. With that said, though, calming all of the hype train down.
Get that out of the way.
He did drop, from Maegashira 1 East, so almost in Sanyaku, down to 4, which is not too bad. Still within striking distance. But he hasn't found the thing, that consistent thing, because he isn't consistent.
He's not.
That is his brand of sumo. So for Ura, it's almost like, don't put any expectation on him at all. Just enjoy.
Enjoy it, and then maybe he'll stumble his way back up to Sanyaku. At this rank, with these people, probably not going to be looking at Sanyaku until later in the year.
He might want to just like maintain right now.
Just climb slowly, or just don't care.
Well, yeah.
Just Ura goes and be like, tell me what my record is after the boss show.
Yeah, I don't even know. Did I win that match or lose that match? I don't know. But I'm amazed by his ability to get thrashed down in ways and just bounce up and not be hurt.
Just perfectly fine.
If people could use Ura's DNA, we'd have a healthier Banzai. Because he's got those heavily taped knees, but you would just never know it because he doesn't fight like somebody who has busted knees.
Oh, he doesn't.
He doesn't fight like somebody who's landed on his head 20 times. So, I don't know. Give his genes out to everybody and we'll stay healthy, pretty much.
50% less broken bones.
Yeah. You can bottle it up.
Yep.
So, best of luck to Ura as well, particularly in entertaining us because we care about that sort of thing.
That's what we're here for.
That's right. It's all about entertainment. So, next we have, I'm going to do one at a time, but I was having a conversation in which Goose has determined Onosho and Meisei are like the same guy, which is different bodies.
Interesting.
And so just keep that in your head as we talk about the two of them and just think, do you agree or disagree with this? And, we have our nice little interesting pairing here where we have Onosho at Maegashira 5 East and Meisei at Maegashira 5 West. So that makes it nice and clean as well. So Onosho, 9-6. His sumo is hot and cold, but he's never hot enough to be like the man. He's sometimes cold enough to... I don't know that he's been very, very far down, has he?
He's always climbed his way back up from it.
Okay.
He's been double digits.
He's definitely been double digits, but I mean, like, has he dropped all the way down to, like, Maegashira 16? Or does he always find a way to kind of stay in the middle?
No, 10, 11, 12. Let's find out.
Yeah.
Let's go to the videotape.
I really don't remember.
14.
Okay, so he's been pretty low.
Yeah. So, again, he has the Oh No show. And this is my big concern. Look, you see that Vis Megashira number 5?
Uh-huh.
You see that 3 and 12?
Uh-huh.
That is what's going to happen to him if he's not careful.
Yep.
And it's going to happen to us in May.
He's pretty patterned. Like, he follows the pattern.
Yeah, so he climbs. He figures things out. He's hot and cold, but a little bit more hot. And then he has his Oh No show. And he goes, it's like when you hit the snake in Snakes and Ladders.
Yeah.
And you just go, swoop, down you go. So that is the Ono show effect. Now, the way he's climbed this way, he has been looking like something's been figured out. Like, because the power he has, hitting like Sanyaku, which is a little crazy.
Yeah. And
so it feels like something got worked. But now it's, okay, you're 5 East. Now, are you going to do an Ono show?
Right. You keep doing this. Like, you nullify all of your progress every couple of basho.
Yeah. But once every 6 months, he gets about right here, and then it all falls apart.
So it'd be nice if he broke his pattern and did something cool, something insane.
Yeah. Well, if he
threw himself in with these new hotness.
If he keeps his power and keeps that sort of dominant aura that got him here, maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
He also now has the knee issues, I think.
He does. So to his defense, I think one of the last 2 times he had his Oh No show was an injury, which sucks. And to his credit, he has recovered from it.
Right.
Looking pretty good. Unlike some other pusher thrusters who have not quite recovered from it.
And will never recover from it.
Or will never recover from it, or are just gone for good. But in any case.
There are multiple of them, actually.
I will say for Ono show, if he's not 2 and 13, it's a good sign.
Yeah, that's pretty much
yes.
Don't do an Oh-No show.
No more Oh-No show.
Even a 6 and 9 would be okay.
Be fine.
It's not great, but it would be okay. Speaking of 6 and 9, so we do have this beautiful symmetry. So you had the 9 and 6 of Oh-No show and the 6 and 9 of Meisei. Oh-No show climbs up, Meisei goes down. So Meisei had a point in time where he gets himself into Sanyaku and he was really strong and he had something to show and something to prove. He's just running out of time. He's just not as strong as the other guys. He's not as quick as he used to be. He's still got the determination, but he's basically, he's getting pushed.
The ceiling's pushing down on him.
Yeah.
He is getting better. He is getting sharper. Hoshoryu's probably helping out with all that in the back end.
He's got that nice situation.
But he is losing the arms race.
Yes,
exactly. This is his big problem, is that when he was in Sanyaku back in the day, the quality of sumo allowed it.
There were a lot more veteran guys that hadn't retired yet. A lot of the new young guys weren't there. There wasn't a whole lot of hype for a while. Like Meisei was like the newest, greatest thing, and he was just sort of...
Yeah, now the temperature's rising. Mm-hmm. Things are getting a little bit more heated, and now Meisei's finding himself... And it sort of sucks because you can tell he's getting better. You can tell he's putting the work in. He's got the grit. He's got the marathon fights, the slap fights, the bar fights. Like, you name it, he does it. He's there. It's that guy who puts in the overtime and doesn't get the bonus.
Right, exactly. But he's in a position where he won't get every top guy.
Yes.
So he'll get some top guys and some really tough matches like that, but then he'll get a lot of guys around him. So maybe that'll work in his advantage. When he gets a little higher up, then you get more nervous for him. Like, should he succeed in this tournament?
Yeah, when he's 2-3.
Yeah.
Whereas where he was before, you're sort of like, he's got a claw for every inch. From here, you're sort of just like, he'll probably be fine.
Right. It's like somewhere in that 5 to 8 spot, Meisei is okay. But going, any higher than that, nah, probably not. So we'll see. We'll see if he can come up with something a little extra special, Or take advantage of somebody else's downfall. That's the
Yeah.
other thing.
I mean, this is sometimes you don't need to be at your best. Just somebody else needs to be worse.
Yeah, and if you take advantage, I mean,
Yeah.
if you let those opportunities fall away, then you're...
Yeah. I mean, keep in mind. I mean, look at this list of people up here. Like, there's not room for everybody here.
No.
You know,
Somebody's going to have a bad tournament.
Somebody has to.
Right.
There's just too much talent in here for it to be a clean. Everybody shakes hands and has a nice day.
Exactly. So Meisei can only look to take advantage of that
I
fact.
think so. He's in a position he can pole vault up.
So now we get to talk about the man, Takerufuji. A couple of interesting notes about him. He went from Maegashira 17 East to Maegashira 6 East with the 13-2 history-making Yusho winner. Takes all of the special prizes. He's got a great, cool nickname, The Undertaker. And everybody wants to see him fight everybody.
They want it.
He's got a couple things going. First, has the injury healed? He hurt his ankle enough. They went to the hospital. Which is like, did they just do that because he's like the Great Hope? Or like, is there something going on we don't know about? I mean, I can't think of rushing him to the hospital. It's like, that was a little strange. I hear that he's training.
I think he's still not 100%, but probably going to go out there.
What stinks about the ankle is that how he was really getting people was on the Tachi eye. Like, he's like shooting out like a cannon. Will the ankle prevent him from doing it?
He did it on day 15 with the crab ankle.
He did.
I think he'll have to pick his battles if he's going in there injured.
Yeah.
But there'll be a couple of days he's just like, well, I can't hit him that hard.
Well, I feel like starting up, he's not going to have it.
No.
I think this is something that as you go through, take your lumps in the first couple of days, you will hurt less the more you do it.
Yeah.
And you'll start to hit adrenaline and you'll start to forget. And then maybe you could start getting people, but I think he might be rusty the first 2 days.
Week 1 Keiko. It'll be a little bit of practice bouts for the first few days.
He is still very hard to push over, so he might be able to pull some tricks. And he is hanging out with a whole bunch of stepbrothers, so
yeah.
He's got the sumo minds. Like, he could go up to Hakuho and say, "Hey, what should I do?" And Hakuho will have just pull it out of his brain. Here's the 7 things I did when my ankle was hurt. You can calculate this and do number 2, 5, or a combination of 3 and 7, and so maybe he'll be okay. But unfortunately, we're not going to get the exact same man that we got before the injury. Like, that is going to be tempered. It's just a question of how much. Don't know. Maybe he'll come out and be like totally fine, and we're like, oh, okay, never mind. I'm not going to worry about it.
I think not double digits is, if he shows up, so he'll be like a 9-6. He'll be at 8-7.
I hope he shows up.
I do hope he shows up. I think
once again, I mean, look at that giant jump and then not show up. You go pretty much
go back down,
right back down.
That would suck. But I mean, if you can't fight on it, don't do it.
Well, yeah,
don't do it. You're too young. You're way too young. Don't do this to yourself.
Yeah, don't ruin your career. I like how he's like with Midorifuji, so it's like, won't be fighting him.
Yeah, lockstep.
Yeah, so he is the Great Hope, but he is a little under, and we're gonna have to see if he can repeat.
We'll see if he shows up day 1.
Yeah, day 1 will tell us a lot.
Yes,
it really will. In this case, the version we see on day 1 is going to sort of write the rest of the book. So once again, best of luck.
Best of luck.
And we have his teammate now, Midorifuji, Maegashira 6 West, down from Maegashira 5 East, 7 and 8. He pulled a lot of Katagashis.
He did 3 in a row and he almost got 4.
And he got one on Hoshoryu, who knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And he even had to give him props for that. I think what's tough for him is he's just outside of the 5, so he's not gonna get all the tough matches, which is good. But I almost think he does better when he has tougher opponents. Maybe that's because of who he trains with.
He rallies.
He really does rally. Like, when he's down lower, he doesn't do as good as when he's up higher. Luckily, he hasn't changed that much of a rank. Expect him to continue to Katagashi because why would
you stop?
Yeah. If people are just not going to be able to get away from it, then... And that must be true. How did he get Hoshoryu when Hoshoryu knew it was coming if he isn't that quick?
It's also like a mind games. Do you go in? You know,
pretend you're grabbing the arm.
You go for the arm. You go for the leg. You go for the belt. You do a little. I'm gonna do a henka. You duck. You're a little too low. You know, you take some time putting your other hand down.
And then, boom, I got it.
Yep.
It's like catching fish. That's literally what he's doing.
Spearfishing.
Yeah. I could just, it's such a great analogy because it's like the Japanese fisherman. It's like, he's just playing around, gotcha. And that's it. And the match is over. So he doesn't have to fight his fellow Maegashira 6, which is cool. And he's going to battle a lot of the same guys he's already battled. It'll be very funny to see. I almost want to do a tally to see if the same guys get Kotozakura again.
That would be an interesting tally.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do that. Mark this down, guys. I'll go back and make a note. I will check to see if Midorifuji has repeat Kotozakura against people who did.
You can just pull that up. They record all the Kimarite. So
right, I just had to make sure I actually look at it.
Yeah,
as he's fighting in the new tournament, make sure I look and see how he beat the guy the last time. That'll make it interesting. We gotta have our little things.
There's also he'll be facing enough of the same people that we'll have that trend.
Right, and they'll know. Okay, I know what he's gonna do.
He did this to me last time.
It would be funny if he come up with a different move, like another crazy move, and they're like, "What's that?" And then he does one of those 6 in a row. That'd be funny.
Leg pick. Come on.
Yeah, Ashitori.
Come on.
He's always game for one. He really is. It's got to be fun in Isegahama in some ways because it's like you got these big, strong, powerful dudes, and then you have these little tiny guys, and they're all mixed in together, and they're all in the top division. And it's like the little tricky guys can do stuff to the big guys, and the big guys can push on the little guys. So they're learning so much.
Add Enho to that mix.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I hadn't thought of it.
Yeah.
Enho having a conversation with Midorifuji?
I mean, Enho's mega injured, but
even Ishiura sitting there having a conversation?
Yes.
Because he's in there too.
Coach.
Yeah.
As a coach.
He's in there coaching too. They all came together, so what an unholy alliance.
Oh man.
You're just gonna make the Isegahama guys stronger.
It's gonna be a power house.
Yeah, I just hope
Literal house of power.
Oho's getting stuff out of this.
Everybody's getting something out of this.
Yeah, of course. So anyway, Midorifuji, looking forward to you grabbing the arm and tossing people around like laundry. Next, we have Nishikigi, Maegashira 7 East, down from Komusubi 1 West, 3-12. Okay, so this was going to happen.
Maybe not as badly.
Not this dramatic.
No.
I wasn't expecting like this giant dump. Ugh. It was a bad tournament for him, but didn't he beat the Yokozuna?
He did.
That was like the one win he had for a long time.
Yeah, he beat him, and then like he got some of the last 2 wins on the final few days.
I think this is just this case of age catching up to him because he has all the same tools, but the endurance, it slows down. The injuries start to hurt a little bit more and harder to recover from. He's got an opportunity to be a dark horse down here. I don't know if he'll win a Yusho kind of dark horse, but he's gonna fight, guys he can definitely beat.
Yeah, I mean him and Takayasu are top veterans now.
Right, and the thing is, at the end of the day, all that matters is your score.
Yeah.
So if you're beating up all these little guys around you, then you can have a great tournament.
Yeah, I think down here he's out of that murderer's row we just talked about.
Yeah, I don't think he'll fight any of them.
Well, he'll be fighting some of the people in the top 5, but
right, but not like the Ozeki or the Sanyaku.
Probably not.
Certainly not going to get another shot at Terunofuji.
Well, keep in mind there are 4 Fujis in the top.
True. So it does create this sort of vacuum where you have to,
you got to pull from somewhere.
If they really want the match, they'll make it happen.
Yes,
and they might want it.
I think both of them will need a few days.
Yeah. So we'll have to see if he's recovered enough. In a way, there is a timer going. Like one day we're gonna wake up and he's retired. It could be as soon as after May.
Well, I don't
think it's gonna be.
I feel he's more of a fade.
You think he's a fade
than a break.
Yeah, the break guys really shock you. It's like, wait, what are you doing?
He looks like he's having too much fun.
Yeah, I agree. He's having a lot of success too. So
Yes,
that's fun.
That's another thing. He was Sanyaku in March.
Right. He's had one bad tournament.
One bad tournament. It's nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
He could go right back up if things go his way.
It's not like Okinomi who just fades out into the sunset.
Where is He did
He's
retire.
retired. He's gone. Right. He's gone.
I had to think about that for a second.
He's coach.
Yes, I remember.
That's unfortunate. I miss him.
I know.
They all got to go, though.
Aoyama's still hanging in.
Barely. He's the bottom of Juryo.
He's scraping, but man, he does not want to give it up.
Yeah.
There's a guy who will have to be carted off.
Yeah, they got to call the bouncers to get him out.
It's like, nah, he says he's not leaving, but we have to start the next match. Now he's staying. Get the giant wheelchair. Okay, best select Nishikigi. Now we go to the biggest enigma in sumo, besides Shodai. Meet Takayumi, Maegashira 7 West, up from Maegashira 10 West, 9 and 6. So he suddenly becomes Mitakayumi again, but then all of a sudden he's Mitakayumi again.
Yep.
There are the two sides of Mitakayumi. There's the, I'm going to like grab you with my pinkies and gracefully walk you out because I'm not strong. And the, you push me at the wrong time. I'm done.
I'm going home.
I'm at the edge. No. He gives that face. He gives that resigned face at the edge. And it always looks like it's easy for the guy to push him out, and it's annoying.
Yeah, it's just like, I wasn't supposed to lose.
Yeah, you almost like expect him to hit his leg and go, come on, that's not fair, man. It's like, I don't know what I'm seeing when I see him half the time.
There is that sort of spark I'll give him that, like, if there's a good competition, like if he tastes he rises to that. It's not like it's a different brand, but a similar thing to what you're talking about with Midorifuji. Midorifuji definitely has higher gears that he employs when he feels like he needs them. There's a little bit of that in Mitakayumi, but he's also momentum based.
Very momentum based.
So like he was like 6-2. He was like on the leaderboard at the very, very beginning, and then he fell off.
One match didn't go his way.
And that's the thing.
That was it.
I mean that's the thing. Like it's so much on him keeping the cart moving.
Yeah.
And keep him pushing it. And
if he stops, it's done. If he
stops.
gets stuck in the mud, it's over.
Done. Yeah. It's the mindset. So, I mean, all this talking boils down to which Mitakayumi shows up in May.
Exactly.
Who knows? It's like you said. It could be Mitakayumi or it could be Mitakayumi.
Exactly. And so, why would you even try to predict? He doesn't even know.
It's nice to see you moving up, I guess.
Yeah, well, just hey, you're on the buns again.
Yeah, yes. Higher ranked than before. Get him.
Such enthusiasm. Oh man,
it's been drained out of me. I'm sorry.
This is the drained Basha. We've been drained since March with everything that's gone on. It's like, give us something.
Yeah,
we're just hanging on, man.
You want to talk about somebody getting a fourth Yusho though, out of nowhere.
It's like, oh, Mitakayumi won again.
Yeah. We're looking at all this. We're just like, we got Onosato, we got Gonoyama, we got Takerufuji, we got 3 Ozekis that want to go on a belt run. Here, Mitakayumi out of nowhere just runs away with it. We're just like, what?
He's actually probably waiting for that.
Oh yeah.
He's waiting for the tournament where it's like, this might be the one.
I know. Oh no. He's waiting for the Yokozuna run to start, and then he's just gonna end it.
Yeah.
He's gonna show up at day 15 and just throw Hoshoryu out.
I know.
That's what he's waiting for.
Oh, man.
It's a long con for him. I had it wrong the whole time.
It is a long con for him. There's no question about that. He is something.
Bless you, Mitakayumi, but stop making me hurt.
Exactly. Now, Takakeisho.
Ugh.
There's some pain right there. Takakeisho was like the great hotness for like 5 minutes, and then, upper Sanyaku and everything. Now he's just a shell of a human being.
He was where Wakamotoharu was.
Yeah. And now, like, you barely even remember him anymore.
He's falling apart.
So he's Maegashira 8 East, fell for Maegashira 3 West because he had a 5 and 10. It's like he's a veteran now. I mean,
he is.
He's still young, isn't he?
30 something.
Is he 30 something? Yeah, we must know.
Why do we need to guess? We've got internet. 94. 30. Okay. He's 29. He'll be 30 in November.
Veteran transition. So the question is he going to rebound? Is he gonna evolve?
Yeah.
Is he just gonna stay in a stasis?
Oh, this is what he's in the middle of it right now.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's trying different things. It looks like, ooh, he's doing some belt stuff. Ooh, he's doing some maneuvers. It's not just all pushing. So is that the fact that his pushing has failed and he's just trying anything he can? Or is he trying to get some new tricks and sort of pull a second wind out?
Right.
So, similar to Takakeisho, his main deal isn't working anymore. But unlike Takakeisho, he's not a injured wreck.
Right.
Less of an injured wreck.
He definitely did stuff.
He's been wrecked. So it looks like he at least has the capacity to start doing some belt stuff, to do some surprise kataskashi. Who knows?
Right, but he's got to kind of put it all together.
He's got to put it all together. So right now when he's dropping down, we don't know if he's free falling or if he's just sort of getting the engine started in mid-flight.
Making some adjustments and, you fall a little bit, but then you get,
Then you're shooting back up.
Exactly.
So, as a Takanosho fan, I'm hoping that this is just a transition.
Yes.
But at 8 East, he's definitely got some buffer if he's still falling. So
right, he can afford to lose a little bit in this tournament, but he's quickly got to get himself going again.
Yes.
Speaking of somebody who's been in a weird place. Koto Shoho, Maegashira 8 West, up from 9 West, 8 and 7. He was, very similar to Oho, like some great matches and some what in the world
bit
is
of weird
on?
stuff.
I don't know that he's ever really figured his sumo out. And I don't know if that's because he spent so much time getting injured, coming back. He hasn't been stable the entire time that he has been in sumo. He's just been a fish out of water, just flopping around. Then the water comes up and he's good. Water goes down. So it's like a fish in shallow water.
That is a pretty apt description for him. He, what was I going to say? He came up from Juryo with the Yusho.
Yeah, he came up hot.
And now he sort of simmered out again. And there were, the very beginning, when he first shows up, he was this prodigy thing. Then he gets injured. Then he loses and he falls down. Ever since then, it's that fish in shallow water thing for him.
It almost seems like because things didn't go according to plan, he's never been able to mentally adjust.
Yeah. It's just like the reality just hit him a little too hard.
And too soon.
So it seems to be maybe it's a mindset thing. I think by now it's safe to say if he was going to get any secondhand Koto no Waka energy, maybe that's helping him. Maybe it's an X factor going on. But like you do, like with the Fujis, you definitely have that amplification effect. Right,
exactly. You're not training in a stable where you're the only guy, and you have to go visit other people's stables just to get training.
So maybe all he needs to do for now, maybe all he can do for now, is just work on getting a little bit more water.
Right, scrape your belly on the bottom, but go towards the deeper water.
Start scraping that silt.
Don't get too comfortable where you are because the tide is going to go down.
Maybe that's another thing. Maybe it's a comfort thing.
It feels a little bit like that.
Maybe
he's comfortable enough. Okay, I did my job.
Yeah, maybe, or it could just be he's sort of plateaued.
Yeah,
you do hit that point.
It's true.
That it's just and particularly if you start putting more effort in and then nothing happens.
That's tough. When you put all this effort and you get nothing out of it, and it's how do I keep motivating myself to go? So I can be sensitive to that fact.
He does have a grit. He's been getting into those slap fights, those barroom brawls. He'll go into that just I'm gonna kill you or you're gonna kill me. So he can go there.
Right. So but he has to dictate a little bit more.
A little bit, yeah.
It's he's waiting for the other guy to do something and then he's gonna do something. And he's a little slow. He's a little slow in my opinion. His movements are a little bit.
So I think for now, if he just keeps scraping grit, like you said, just keep digging at the bottom for more water.
Exactly.
And then maybe he'll have enough to start swimming.
He does have time to figure this out.
Yes.
It's a crazy thing, right? Because time is in some ways subjective because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You could break your arm tomorrow. But at the same time, if you're looking at mindset, There's no reason why you can't be a different you the next day.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing stopping you is your own will. It's like if you really gut it out, you can be better. You know, as long as you're not hurt. Take that out of the picture. So I feel like I don't want to give up on him. I feel like he could turn this around. He could be a big name. X
Factor. Koto Tebakari is like Makushita 2.
He's coming up. He's so close. Brother Power.
Brother Power.
Love Brother Power.
I want it. I want the two of them next to each other on the Banzuke.
Especially because the Waka thing just fell apart on us. We're so close.
Well, at this point, we're going to get both of them at the same time.
Yeah, that's true. That could be interesting. Brothers versus brothers. Ooh, I like it.
2v2 for the tag team title.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
Tag match in this. Oh, I can't wait.
You get Wakataka Kage over to the edge, and then you tag in your brother. Be like, finish this for me.
Just trip him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. So we will see what happens with our friend Koto Shoho. Now we go to Tamawashi, who has been Mr. Immortal for so very long. But eventually, you see cracks. I wouldn't say he's falling per se, but the cracks are becoming wider and wider every day. He got a 7 and 8. They dropped him from Maegashira 7 to Maegashira 9. He's sort of holding that veteran position. That is the favored veteran position.
That's about right where you want to be.
So he's high enough to get some good fights, low enough not to get destroyed. But, I mean, come on, he's 40 this year. He might be 40 right now. I don't remember when he's born. You can look that up once again.
That's not middle mouse. There it is. Another November birthday.
Oh, okay. So he's got the rest of the year pretty much. It's good to have a November birthday. So Mr. 39 is almost 40. It's only a matter of time. But it seems like it's not yet.
Yeah. I mean, there's almost a relief in a way. It's like, oh, he is getting older.
Right. It's like, it's not me going crazy.
It is this weird bubble of immortality around him for so long. And we're like, what is he doing?
Yeah, like,
can I get in on that?
It's kind of weird.
I know. And so like now it's like, okay, the signs of age, it's a relief almost.
Right. It's like he really is aging. We all do really age.
Okay, people do age. Time is not a construct. Everything's fine.
We didn't like fall into some void somewhere.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like you said, this is a perfect place for him to get some good wins, fight some interesting matches, throw him in with somebody who maybe wants to go on a run. Very exciting things. And I mean, look past him at your own peril.
Right. I mean, he is one of the brutalest men who will hurt you. Like he'll break your arm or your neck or whatever. So don't let him get you.
Yeah. You gotta fight him like you're fighting Yokozuna, or else he's gonna hurt you. You're gonna get thrown out. You get crushed.
You know, you see this all the time in just regular like karate sparring and stuff. The rank almost doesn't mean anything with certain people because you go to fight and you're like, he's probably gonna hurt me. I need to be really on guard in this fight. And he could be the same rank as you. He doesn't have to be. In some ways, like the higher rankers have got a little bit better, foothold on this and aren't going to hurt you. Tamawashi wants to win. He don't care.
You don't care.
He doesn't care what rank he is. He doesn't care what rank you are. He's been doing this an awfully long time. If you give him the opening,
he'll take it.
He'll take your arm, bend it back, and you're done. Your career's over.
Goodbye.
So, like you said, be careful. Careful against Tamawashi. Okay. Don't be careful against Shodai. This is not a good pairing because Tamawashi and Shodai are very different. Maegashira 9 West, up from Maegashira 10 East, 8 and 7. I didn't think Shodai was going to get Kachikoshi. I was shocked at the end that he did because some of his matches were so, like, Shodai matches. So he's got sort of this casual Shodai, whatever. Yeah. I'm just here.
It would almost make more sense if he was never Ozeki.
Yeah, him being Ozeki doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. The more time has gone by since that, the more you're sort of just like, that was just a weird fling that we all went on.
Thing that happened.
I know. You all go, like, you and your friends, you all go out to a sketchy bar, And then in the moment, you're just like, no, it'll work. We're going to make it work. And then like a few weeks later, you're just like, why
were we there? We were crazy to go.
That was not a good part of town. We could have had our drinks spiked. Like, what were we doing?
What in the world were we thinking? Let's pretend it never happened. And that's what it feels like with Shodai. Like, this man was not Ozeki.
No, it's so
this
weird.
Did not happen, Which, I mean, you could say that about Mitaki. Yeah. Well, not in the same way.
Yeah,
because Mitaki Yumi, once again, 1-3 show.
It's funny because in some way Shodai and Mitaki Yumi are almost the same person, and then like you go into these little details and you're like, yeah, which Shodai, it was always this weird thing that we all just agreed upon.
He's almost like a big kid. You know what I mean? So like when things are really good and exciting, he shows up and he's like,
jolly, happy.
But then he's just like, life sucks most of the time. So why try? Why can't? Like a teenager. He's like a teenager. I'm never predicting anything that he does. I have no idea.
Hate it when he shows up on ISP.
I know. I'm like, why? Can we just ban Shodai from ISP?
Ban him.
Certainly. Can we ban Shodai versus Mitaki Yumi?
Might as well flip a coin.
If I see that match again, I'm gonna not do ISP that time.
Just let the auto pick hit it. It's about as accurate.
It doesn't matter. Auto pick. I don't want the stress of knowing I picked somebody.
Right. Well,
so I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah. He always has the potential to just show up and do good sumo.
He does, and that's sort of the weird thing. Like we could have a tournament where he shows up and goes like 13-2 or something.
It could. It's in the cards. Just
it's probably not going to happen, but
probably not. But
I mean, he's hit a point now where the weird thing that happened with Ozeki is just probably never showing up again.
Definitely not.
I feel like he's in the back room, like reading books and looking out the window and saying, looking at his watch, like, I just don't want to be here. You know? Like, when do I get my elder stock? Or I don't even know if he wants that. He probably just wants to, like, go off.
I think he's having fun. I think he's just enjoying sumo.
He must. I mean, he must. I want interviews with Shodai. I want somebody to do, like, an in-depth psychoanalysis on Shodai.
It may be out there.
It might be out
there. Gotta go dig around in those sports tabloids.
Yeah, like we gotta find like maybe an old Shodai interview where he discussed what kind of person he is. Because I want to know.
The favorite color, the blood type.
Yeah.
One of those.
You might find something in the tea leaves. I don't know. So good luck, as always. Luck has nothing to do with how you'll do. And we'll just move on to Shonana Umi. Maegashira 10 East, up from 12 East, 9-6. So he's starting to look like who he should be again.
Yes.
But not 100%.
It's not, yeah. He's not back on the train, but we're
going in the right direction.
Yes. We've stemmed the bleeding. We've seen the Shonana Umi brand of sumo back. I'm not worried anymore about whatever the hell
Weird
happened.
Thing was going on.
That January thing, it's behind all of us. I think he's in a position to continue to do well at 10 East for somebody who was in the top 5 and scrapping it.
And who has like a massive, like, I can't get over how big he is.
He's got a size thing.
He is a big dude. I feel like, what's going on with these like really tall guys who don't know what to do?
It's a thing, I guess.
It's a thing. I mean, I don't know. I feel like he should be soaring at some point if everything gets figured out.
Yeah, I mean he's one of the like the late bloomers. I think he's 28, 29.
Yeah. Maybe it's a mindset because of that.
Maybe a little bit. I mean, he's not as young as Asanoyama, but
you know,
bringing it back, the callback, got him.
Oh yeah, that's coming back.
Anyway, I think that Shonana Umi just has everything that he needs to do well. So it's like, let's just sit back and watch him succeed. That's my feeling of him going into May.
That's the truth. There's like nothing you would say to him like, you need to have this. It's like, have it. Just do sumo.
Yeah, execution is all that's left.
Yeah, whatever's going on, figure it out.
Good. Yeah, he looked good in March. I feel like he's back to his winning ways.
Yeah.
He just needs to shake off whatever remaining cobwebs hit, and then he's just going to go right back up to the top.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting if he does make a splash because he's part of that older, like he came up with Gonoyama, right?
He did come up with Gonoyama.
So he's part of the older hotness. Let's just throw all the new hype into a room together and let them battle it out.
That's what May's gonna be.
Yeah, I want to see it. I want some good fights. That's all I want. I want good fights and no drama. I don't want to hear it. If it's happening, I don't want to know about it. Nope.
Keep it in the back room until we're done.
That's right. I'm putting on the noise canceling headphones and I'm just straightforward watching the matches, and I want to see a fight.
Your kids come over to you screaming about somebody pulling hair. You're just like, get out. I'm not here.
I don't want to hear it.
20 minutes.
I just need 20 minutes to watch somebody beat somebody up. It makes me feel good. in not a bad way.
Not a bad way. Productive
They
way.
want to fight, you know?
Yes.
So next we have Kimbozan, Maegashira 10 West, down from 7, Maegashira 7 East. So here's an injured guy, and he's been concerned about injuries. He was 6-7-2. He had some momentum going. Is it the knee that's hurt?
Neck.
Okay. These neck injuries, they're so scary.
Well, watch your necks here.
Yeah, it's so weird, though, because how many guys have been doing these tachiyas? These neck injuries are just popping out of nowhere.
I wonder.
Something's in the water. So he's been dropped down enough that if he's healed, he should be able to perform well
him
down
and
here.
Him and Shinano Umi are sort of in the same boat. That you're just like, at this rank, you're going to make a killing.
Exactly.
Down here.
Exactly.
And like Kim Bozan was figuring it out. I felt like in the first bit of March, I'm like, I think he's finally getting it, and then he falls out of the ring and he tweaks something, and then
it's just like,
it was Tamawashi again.
It's like, I don't want this. Like, why can't I have the things that I want?
So this is, I think I may want this about as much as he does. Like, I want him to go in there, get a nice 10-5, just crush it.
Now, Kimbozan was also in the Gonoyama Shonami thing, wasn't he? Or was he the next wave?
I think.
Or was he? No, he was Kimbozan and Hokuseiho, right?
It's all bleeding together.
It's all
now.
bleeding together. What does it matter?
Tabs. The last year's been really good to us.
Yes, it's true.
We've got a dozen prospects coming
after
up filling
a
in.
Good couple of years of what's gonna happen to Sumo.
I mean, we get a couple people here and there coming up. We don't know, and now they're just coming up. They just pull them out everywhere.
We had the Enho years. I mean, that was fun.
It was also fun.
But it was also if this is the only guy we got,
We're getting more.
Kimbozan, if he's healthy, I think will do well, and that's all we can hope for.
Yes.
So now we have Sana Umi, Maegashira 11 East, up from Maegashira 11 West with an 8-7. So he gets the tiny little change.
The half step.
Yeah, that was going to happen for somebody with all the weirdness. So he started off, 6-2, looking good. Maybe he's, doing the veteran thing, and then it's just started falling apart.
Yeah, from 6-2 to 8-7 on the last day. It was like, ugh.
I mean, he's beat up. He's older. It's all the things we've talked about with the other guys. It's amazing he's still hanging in. It's amazing that he's still doing as well as he's doing.
Yeah, these are the veteran struggles, though. What can you do?
Nothing. You just show up every day and just hope it works out.
Tough it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a. He does have tenure, though. I think him and Tom, obviously Tamawashi's the one with the record, but I think Sadano Umi's
right in there.
He's in there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. 10. There was somebody else, and now I can't remember, but there's somebody else, a younger guy who's never missed a match. I cannot remember who it is now. I'll have to go back.
Oh, you'll get it.
Yeah, I have to go back to a live stream or something. Yeah. Somebody told me, and I was like, oh, wow, okay. So, you have your Iron Men, which is impressive in this time of serious injury.
Lots of injuries everywhere.
It's like, for you to stay healthy, you deserve a prize just for that. But Sana no Umi is another one of those guys where if suddenly it was like, oh, he retired, it wouldn't be like, oh. It's like, it was coming.
Yeah, I was, I don't want it, but it's starting to show.
Yeah. Room has got to be made.
For the next crop.
Exactly. Now, hopefully, Hokuto Fuji is not anywhere near retirement, though he is starting to get quite beat up. He had a 6-9, so they dropped into 11 West from 9 East. Not the worst. Hopefully, his injuries are all set and his body is back to normal.
It was a bit of a not confident showing in March.
It was weird. It was like, this is not the Hokuto Fuji that we know.
No, and so here's our problem, though, is that we've got so much good people up top. So, usually this lower area, you're like, oh, if you're good enough, you can scrape by. the lower parts are getting strong too. Like you've got Kim Bojan and Shonana Omi were like, you guys are right there. Who are they gonna fight?
Right, they're squeezing some of these older, weaker guys out.
Yeah, so it's becoming this real problem for these people that aren't doing too well, but you don't want them to go. It's just like the squeeze is just becoming too much.
Yeah, and Hokuto Fuji's just had such a aggressive fighting style. It's like Chio no Kuni. I mean, Chio no Kuni was like one of the toughest guys in sumo. But you can't take those level of hits day after day and have a long career. And that's Hokuto Fuji's problem. He's had how many head smashes, how many busted faces. But, he's tough. I mean, for a guy who... He's losing stamina, but man, it's not like he's walking around wounded like some of these other guys.
Yeah. So we get if he's in fighting fit, he'll be fine.
Absolutely,
he'll
down
be
there.
Fine down here. But if he shows up the way he was in March with not a lot of power and just sort of trying to find something, it's gonna be bad.
You might lose another man to Juryo.
I might.
You're losing a lot of your favorites.
I am. I'm running out.
You're gonna have to start picking some new guys once these guys get kicked out, or else you'll have no one.
I'm getting to that point. I gotta go find it.
Somebody of unusual talent that is very interesting and exciting, who isn't necessarily the guy.
It can't be the guy.
Well, you're like Hiraumi. He's like
Hiraumi's probably gonna be the bet. Like if Hokuto Fuji retires tomorrow and then Aoyama falls out of Juryo, like I gotta pick somebody. No Kaisei.
Yeah.
Kaisei's gone. So it'd probably be Hiraumi. Though he's starting to do too well. I'm a little hipster. Like I can't just pick the top dogs.
That's true.
Everybody picks the top.
You gotta
dog.
keep hanging out down here.
I do. No, yeah. I gotta find. It's just like what's gonna get me the most mileage out of my loyalty.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
Like, Hoshoryu does not need me.
He doesn't need.
He doesn't need anything.
He doesn't.
He's got
Although
it all.
he's in my top. I can't.
Well,
help it.
there's that too. This isn't to say that you can't pick him. This is my mindset.
Right.
This is
I'm not gonna be hipster with my picks.
Yeah. This is definitely a me thing.
But I understand the appeal.
Yeah.
I really do.
I like finding the thing that nobody's interested in.
Yep. I'm like, that's my guy.
And that's the guy. And I mean, I say this like if I was really serious about this, I'd be going down in the Sandame and looking for people. I'm not doing that.
Right. That's way too much work.
So sorry, guys. The hipster credit goes away once I get out of the salaried ranks.
Like I'm not gonna take this that seriously.
No, God. Anyway, Hokuto Fuji, please don't make me make this choice. You're still my top guy.
There you go.
Stop the top guy.
It's not going to be Ichi Yamamoto.
Not anymore.
You wanted it to be,
I
but
wanted
he couldn't do it.
He couldn't handle it.
Ichi Yamamoto, 7-8, so not horrible. Gets just the, Maegashira 12 treatment for Maegashira 11. He is not consistent. He has moments where things look pretty good, and then he does the flaily thing, like the feet are flying, and the arm is like over here, and the guy gets under him, and he's out.
He's out.
I don't think... I'm not inspired by him. I'm not inspired by his sumo.
So him and Kota Shoho have something in common, is that they came up with Juryo Yushos, and they've been not making good on that. He went down, and I was lamenting. I'm like, oh, maybe he'll go down to Juryo, figure it out. He comes up with the Yusho. I'm like, he's figured it out, guys, and he gets the 11-4 in November. I'm just like, yeah,
he's here.
It's been crap ever since.
We know the truth of the matter is, there's the people who are consistent are just consistent, and the people who are inconsistent are just inconsistent.
It does feel that way sometimes.
It's kind of like the genius hard worker thing. To some degree, if you have this reputation of being inconsistent, it doesn't completely go away ever, and that's why you have these wild swings.
I mean, there are some people like the struggle defines them.
Yeah.
I mean, in any human thing that involves self-expression.
Yeah.
Some people
true.
just get it. Some people can just climb the mountain and get to the top, and then some people, their life is climbing the mountain. They never get to the top.
This is such a poetic thing to think about.
Yeah.
It's also very frustrating because you want everybody to be the guy who can at least get to the hard work stage and like gut it out.
Grit it out. You know.
But there's like you said, there's the guys who no matter how hard they try, they grab the rock and they slide back down.
They slide back down. You know, you get you get like people like Ichi Yamamoto, just like things seem to work out. It's like he got 2/3 up the mountain today. It's really good. And then like when they keep faltering like that, like it's you're less annoyed at them and you just start to get annoyed at life.
Yeah, exactly.
And everything, and then you're just mad.
You're like, life is not fair.
Yeah,
I'm not watching this match anymore. I'm done.
Get me out of this random number generator that we call the universe. I'm done with it.
Exactly.
Close the door. I'm done.
We're never getting another Abi Ichi Yamamoto match.
We got our one. We got our one.
one.
I can't. No matter what happens.
I'm satisfied. What a strange match it was, too. Just all around strange. So, we'll see if Ichi Yamamoto can string a couple together. He's in the danger zone being down here.
He's starting to be. It's like he can change his luck. He can put it together.
He just has to.
It just needs to happen somehow.
Yeah. And we'll see if he's a struggler.
Yeah, he is.
So next we have Nishiki Fuji, Maegashira 12 West, up from Maegashira 14 East, 8-7. He was looking way better than I expected.
Oh my goodness, it was such a relief.
I thought he was going to come up and immediately get sent back down to Juryo, so I can say that 8-7 is very positive.
It's extremely positive.
It stinks that he only got raised up to Maegashira 12 West, though, because he keeps him in a precarious spot.
He is.
Hopefully his body is in better shape.
Yeah, it is. It will be for the short term. Just another 8-7. Just keep
which
whatever
is fine.
Whatever it takes. Scrap it out. For the long term, it's not the record. Even if he gets a Makakoshi, it's how he's winning.
Right.
Because
exactly.
he does have this. It's the chaos. It's sort of the Tobi Zaru-ish scrappiness, moving around, slap down, staggering acrobatics, which is to credit it's doing. When he starts to win like the little tiny Terunofuji when he originally showed up, when he gets that weird power from nowhere that also Midori Fuji has.
Yes, it is very strange.
Once he starts winning that way, then he's back.
And we could see that in May. We don't know. We don't know exactly what kind of shape he's in, but it seemed like he was in bad enough shape to get dropped down to Juryo.
He was in bad enough shape to drop down to Juryo. I don't think that he's fully cleared.
Right.
I think it will be a little gradual. So like maybe it'll be a 9-6, and he has like a lift out win somehow, and you're like, whoa. If you see him do that like the tiny double arm lock and throw people around,
then he's
back.
Good.
He's back.
Exactly.
I'm hoping for that because
It's so cool when he does it.
There was a different type of energy when he was coming up.
Yes.
Because of that physics defiance that he had.
It's like, here's this tiny guy, but he's emulating the Yokozuna in his stable.
It breaks you. Like, you look at somebody like Enho, and he just zooming all over the place, taking all these angles. Like, that's how a small person wins.
Exactly.
And then you looked at Nishiki Fuji, and he was just out muscling people. You're like, that's not how little people win. Did you read the manual?
You're how is he?
How is this isn't supposed to work this way?
Confused.
It was fascinating. You couldn't stop watching it. But
so hopefully we get more of that.
Maybe.
But we should be cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic. Also, like, if it doesn't show up in May, just give him time.
Right.
Let it happen.
Hopefully he maintains records good enough not to put him in the danger zone.
Yes. That's all we need.
8-7.
Can't get ahead of ourselves as fans.
No, and I don't think you should do an 11-4 unless he's actually back.
Unless he's yes. That's a very good point. If it's an 11-4 and it's all weird scrappy stuff, that's actually bad news.
That's really bad.
That's bad news. They're gonna put him too high. He's not ready yet.
Exactly.
He's gonna get injured again.
We're hoping for like a little medium thing.
A little 8-7, 9-6. Get a couple arm locks in there. Exactly. That's all.
So now Mitoryu is back up from Juryo 2 West, Maegashira 13 East. This was a tough call as to where he would land in the Bonds.
Yeah.
Today. So 12-3 wins the Yusho. We got the next Yusho guy up in the upper division. He's been up here before. He gets knocked right back down. Does winning the Juryo Yusho really mean anything? I don't know anymore.
Yeah. So, well, when I was putting the notes together, I'm just like, coming up Yusho in hands 12-3. That's a statement that you're done with this punching bag nonsense. But then I started thinking about Koto Shoho and Ichi Yamamoto. I'm like, okay, the Juryo Yusho it's sort of like a little gold plating on your certificate.
Yeah.
It's nice. And also to be clear, I think did Roga come up with it? Somebody came up with it recently.
I don't know.
So it's not sometimes you look at it and you're like, this is the guy. But it doesn't always mean that.
Right. It's just like a thing that you look at.
Yeah. And now what it does do is that it puts him all the way at 13 East, which is a pretty nice jump. And it is a confidence booster. It's definitely the mental. It's just like it's sort of like I've defeated Juryo. I'm done with it.
Exactly. It means something, but it doesn't mean as much as it could.
Not up here.
Right. There's just such a big chasm between the top division and Juryo.
It does. Whenever somebody comes up with the Yusho, I do say, "You do have my attention, sir."
Yes.
Let's see if it maintains throughout.
But if you don't do good on day one, I'm done with you. I have far better matches to watch.
Oh, good heavens! Did you see his technique? Oh.
Ugh, these uncouth, ridiculous men coming from Juryo.
So, we're also in a weird, sort of almost a contradiction, because every time Mitorio comes up, he just gets thrown out.
Yeah.
With no respect for the man.
Which is why winning the Juryo Yusho makes it a little more interesting.
Now I'm like, oh. So, like, on one hand, just like maybe the new chapter for Mitorio has started, and now we're going to see this guy who we're like, ooh, here comes the new veteran sensation. Or when he goes back down to Juryo, it's just going to be that much more tragic.
Right, it's like, and you're still not good enough.
So
poor
weird.
Mitorio. I already feel bad.
I feel like now's as good a time as any to get on a hype train for him. But just where's the train going?
I know. I'm not ready to take leaps right now. My heart has been broken too many times.
Well, May is the show me your stuff.
Yes.
There's no expectation. There's no
just
runs.
Show up.
It's just sumo.
And that's what I like. I think May might be my favorite. And I like September too, though. May and September are my favorites. All the other ones, they're great fun, but they're so chaotic. January's chaotic. March is chaotic. July is a nonsense show. And November is end of the year. So it's got that end of the year craziness. So give me a nice little middle May and September. Anyway, I digress. Best of luck, Mitorio. I hope this time is different than the others. And now we will go to Churana Umi, who maintains the same rank. Somebody had to do it. We should start taking bets on who's going to maintain the same rank. Yeah, who's going to be the holds when we do the Banzuke. 7 and 8. Underdog came up with the whole class of guys. He's the only one who stayed.
It was him, Roga, Kitano Waka, Hoshoryu, and maybe Tomokaze.
Yeah, Tomokaze came up with that group.
And nobody bet on Churana, and he was the only one who got a Kachikosho. We're like, cool.
Right, everybody else goes back. He stays in. He sort of maintained his presence. He's the one who is a new old guy.
New old guy, yeah.
Although, he might be Asanoyama young. I don't know. But so the problem with him is it's starting to fade out already.
He's fading a little bit. He needs to spark again.
He needs to do something. And the guys are back now. We got Roga back up. Tomokaze's back up.
Kitano Waka came back up and then went back down a second time.
Yeah, so there's a couple guys who haven't quite figured their footing out.
Kitano Waka is in the same boat as Mitorio, and that the top division is just too much for him. Too much for him. But yeah,
it's that Tachi, I like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Churana Umi, I like him, but he's got to do something because these 42 seats up top are starting to get real nasty to hold on to.
And you're only getting older.
He's only getting older.
Coming in so late in his career, it's like you don't got a lot of opportunity here.
No.
So we'll see what happens. He's got grit. He's stuck it out when no one else could.
Yeah,
and we'll see how he compares to Roga.
We got Roga, we got Oshoma, we got Toki Hayate, we've got Takerufuji. There's not a lot of easy wins down here anymore.
No, that's like we've been saying, the squeeze.
Squeeze
you right back into Juryo if you're not lucky. So now we have Ryuden, who's sort of he had that like stellar comeback.
Yeah.
And now he's like going right back into weird stuff. I'm expecting the jockey Tachi.
Oh my god, that needs to come back.
That was so ridiculous. I feel like somebody had to have put that up on YouTube and like given it a name. We call it the jockey, but maybe somebody's called it something else. But anyway, he only loses a rung, 6 and 9. Now he's at Megashare 14 East. He's losing out with the things he's good at.
Yeah, this is the big problem. is he had his pillars of strength, and this is what got him up to like top 5, is that like if he had that pillar, like there's no beating him. But now that's not as strong as it was, and people are learning how to deal with it.
And once they got you figured out and you're already struggling, well, what is there to do?
Nothing to do but go down.
He might be... I mean, Kageyaki's been sitting in Juryo for a while now. He might be headed to join his teammate there.
That's probably what's going to happen at this rate. But he's still got those bear traps for hands.
Right.
Don't count him out.
It's not time to count him out, but it's definitely time to put him on the
watch list.
Yes. So we'll be watching you with both eyes.
Yeah, he gets 2 eyes. We're gonna,
we're at a neutral, like.
He's got a little bit of buffer.
A little bit.
A little, not a lot.
I mean, he could probably do another 7 and 8, maybe a 6 and 9, depending on how everybody else does. But he's running out of room.
Double-digit losses, he's out. Yeah. There's no room for that.
So get it together, man. Next, we have Oshoma coming up from Juryo. Juryo 4 West, 2 Maegashira 14 West. He was 11-4. He was in the Yusho race for Juryo. Not sure what happened exactly with those last matches, but he got stuck in Juryo for a while. He was supposed to be a great hype. Is he also somebody who got in trouble for bullying?
Yes.
Okay, so we got a bully on our hands here. I don't know how much of like personality might be a reason he got stuck in Juryo, or if it's all strictly sumo.
I wouldn't know that. I do like looking at
in terms of like you saw Hokuseiho was very uninspired in his matches. He'd come in and kind of the stuff, his intrinsic stuff was showing, and I'm just asking like maybe Oshoma isn't getting where he needs to be because he's doing the wrong things.
Maybe.
If you're really focusing on your sumo, you should get some results.
It's fresh from Juryo, fresh to our eyes. He's got 15 days to impress us.
Right, and we're not in the mood. We've become British and snobbish, and we're drinking our tea, and we're like, okay, if I don't see something in the first 5 seconds of your match, you're done. We don't care.
Yeah, he's I think he is more of like a muscle fighter, pull wins.
A lot more of these pull guys all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's a weird one for me to get used to.
Yeah, because it's like the antithesis of what you've been told.
Well, it's a different sumo. I'll say that.
It can be interesting, but a lot of times it can be like, what am I watching?
Not well.
But there are some people have a flair for it, and they can make it interesting.
Yeah, I will. Well, I don't want to I'm not going to get into the Henka thing again. But again, like if you win a match,
yeah, doesn't matter.
That's a check mark on the scorecard. So deal with it from there.
I haven't seen a lot of complaints about pull sumo in general, unlike the Henka.
Well, typically, pull sumo takes care of itself.
True.
Like
you pull yourself
out.
Are
you going to pull Hoshoryu out? No, you're not going to slap him down. You're not going to do some tricks on him. It typically pull running back sumo. It will hit a skill ceiling that you can only get so far with. That's typically why people don't rag on it that much. This is my take. This is my opinion.
I believe this is a very valid opinion.
And so, like, eventually you hit a rank, particularly in the top division, that pulls will only work with other things. Like if you're Aoyama, if you're Chiyo Tairyu, the push and the pulls. If you're Abi.
Right, you blast and then
you blast and then you pull. It's not just the pull, and then so you have, and it's now not to take anything away from the Toki Hayates, but it's like if all you're doing is leaning and pulling and leaning and pulling, like there's an interesting.
It's like tug of war.
It's a little bit of it. It's an interesting dynamic at play, but ultimately you're gonna hit a point that you are ceding the advantage.
Yes. To
your opponent, and if your opponent is good enough to know how to handle that,
you're taking yourself out of the match.
You're removing yourself from the competition. Gotcha. That is whether or not Oshoma does all that is definitely up to him. And then he got top division nerves. He's got all the Tachi eyes. He's got all this stuff to deal with.
Head clashes.
He was one of the again. There's a long list of touted next big things. He was on that list. He got to Juryo really quick, but then he sort of languished in it for a little bit, and then he finally got it back up together. So it's really up to him whether or not he's going to surge upwards, or if getting into the top division is going to be his next sticking point.
Right. And once, like, as we always say, we just don't have enough data on this
Not yet.
man to give an opinion on that. Speaking of new data, Toki Hayate, Maegashira 15 East, up from Juryo 1 East, 8-7, new to the top division, belt fighter. He barely spent a year in Juryo before climbing up to the top division.
Yeah. So he gutted it out in the Maegashira and below, the unsalaried ranks, for a few years, and then
Makushita?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then like once he hit Juryo, like it was just like Kachikoshi. Now it was 8-7, 9-6. Like he didn't have a breakout, but he
did what he had to do.
He did what he had to do to get up. So it's sort of interesting to see the two of these guys together, because Oshoma's like, he's the touted guy. I think they were talking up Toki Hayate too as well.
Yeah, I've heard his name mentioned a bunch of times.
So we have sort of different energies coming up in terms of how they handled Juryo.
And these are not the same type of fighters
that
we saw like some of these other groups that have come up. This is like a totally different type of group. Which is always exciting, because we want to see different types of fighters and different personalities.
Different variety.
Waiting for the next entertaining guy. Waiting for the next guy to take Hokutofuji's spot in your heart.
Yeah, someone's got to do it.
I mean, I have to start looking myself, You've
got Hoshoryu and Gonayama.
That's true. So I guess I already looked.
You're looking. I'm not making your decision for you.
It's
your
true,
heart
though.
Makes the decision. No one else does.
My heart has already chosen those two. So it's true. But I had to look.
You did have to look. You had to go shop around.
I did. I started to say, okay, I don't have Takakeisho forever. Who am I going to root for? And I made my choices, and I'm just trying to push you in the right direction.
Thank you, Maria.
You're welcome. I got your back. So, here is another holder. Roga maintains Maegashira 15 West, 7-8. Was Roga the one that we were all discussing whether or not he was going to get dumped?
It was Miyogiryu.
Oh, okay.
Who was dumped, unfortunately.
So we figured Roga was safe.
Yeah, with the 7-8, he wasn't going to get thrown out.
So he basically held. I mean, 7 and 8 is holding.
Yeah.
He's not. It's like his chin's above the water.
Yeah. Some of this was, particularly holding rank. Some of it was a sort of like a loaning of faith.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're doing good enough. We're going to leave you at this rank, but we're hoping that in May maybe you'll go Kachikoshi this time.
Right.
So just a little possibility. So he's borrowed a bit of goodwill. Let's see if he can pay it back. I have a feeling
he's so far down that he's not going to be given that much.
Well, I feel like if he gets another 7 and 8, like they'll be a little over demote him a little bit, like they'll put him at 17.
Right.
But
he's got to prove himself.
They're giving him the chance.
Which they should do for a young guy.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I actually don't know where Rogue is going to go. He's still finding his legs a little bit, but he's doing enough? Question mark?
Yeah, he's doing what somebody at the bottom that's new should do.
Yeah, he's
Might take a little while.
Yeah, no, sort of keep in mind that people are normally like Roga. And they're not like Takerufuji.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
This like I'm looking at Roga, I'm sort of like this is the reality of how people handle sumo.
Reality sumo wrestling.
There's reality sumo, Roga reality.
Exactly. There you go. Roga reality.
It's the Roga reality, guys. This is what it's like. Sometimes you 7 and 8 and you hold, and you have to really win back your good graces. So
exactly.
Winning back, Roga. Let's see it.
And coming back from the depths of darkness, Tomokaze, Maegashira 16 East, up from Juryo 3 West, 9 and 6. Didn't think they were going to do it. I thought they were going to keep him in Juryo.
I did too.
It's nice to see him come right back after Juryo, but his injuries, they're not going away.
Get your duct tape ready for those 15 days, because you need it every day.
This is a man who's fighting at this point for just to stay a sumo wrestler because he loves it.
Yes.
He's no longer the man who he was before the injury, which is always talk about how painful that is.
This is the love of the game right here.
Yeah, this is like, you know what? I'm not going to be the guy I had planned to be, but I'm going to do what I love.
I'm going to be the best whatever I am.
Exactly. And then at the end of the day, I can feel good that I did what I had to do.
He clawed it back.
Yeah. Such a shame.
It's a rough. So, well, we get him back sooner than we thought, which is always nice.
It'll be good to watch his matches again.
15 days of Tomokaze. It's more than I felt we were going to get.
Which I will say also for Takerufuji,
yes.
Minus 16 West, up from Juryo 1 West, 8 and 7. I thought for a minute when he went down, like, is he another one we'll never see again?
I thought it was. He comes back. I mean, I like how both of these guys are 16 and both of them. I'm looking at them. I'm like, maybe this is the last time, but I'm glad to see you because I didn't think I'd see you in May.
I think it means a lot to Takerufuji because I just said Takerufuji.
Yeah.
Because this is likely Terunofuji's last tournament. So I could totally see them retiring at the same time unless Takerufuji has some other reasons, money-wise or whatever. But I think he wants to continue to be in the final Yokozuna ceremonies. So he's done what he's had to do to
get back.
To get back and be with his buddy. And it's good news for us because we love watching him fight.
We like him.
He was one of my first favorites. I had Shohozan, Takerufuji, and Ishiura. Those were my first three.
The OG.
And Ishiura should still be fighting if he didn't get horrifically injured because he was still young. Asanoyama young, though. Definitely.
It's still funny.
But like Shohozan and Takerufuji, I mean, and Yoshikaze.
Yoshikaze, the berserker.
Oh, I love Yoshikaze. So I've been through this before. You've been through this before.
Yes.
There's been so many. And as I wrap this top Banzuke up, case in point with Tsurugisho, he's in that category of you're gonna have to say goodbye. 2, 3, and 10 with his knee finally just grinding into dust.
Yeah.
After fighting on it insanely in ways that didn't make sense.
You can almost hear the explosion of it falling apart.
I'm pretty confident we're not going to see him.
No.
But the question is, will he ever come back?
No.
I don't think so either. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm waiting for a retirement, quite frankly. I mean, how can you ever fight again? You would need surgery on that knee, and even then...
You need a RoboCop knee.
Yeah, he'd have to get like a whole knee replacement. But then he still couldn't fight. I just don't think we're going to see him again. He might be waiting for the retirement announcement. Maybe he waits for the tournament to start.
If he shows up, I will be baffled.
I could see him not retiring because he wanted his name on the one last Banzuke. And there he is in the last spot. I am expecting a retirement announcement. I will be shocked if I don't get one. Not that I want that, but...
Yeah. Well, it could be one of those things that, like, it all fell apart, and everybody's just like, okay, let's see, let's get the archaeologist over here and see what we could dig up.
Is there something we can do so he can have a little more time?
And so that maybe they're doing this. Maybe he is doing some surgery. Maybe it's sort of one of those, like, patch job, put things back together, see if it works, see if you can put weight on it again, kind of things. So maybe they're giving it a few months just to see what they can get away with.
Yeah, but, maybe.
I mean, that
would be like miraculous stuff.
That slow-mo, it was just...
Yeah, it was like, oh, there it is. We knew this was coming.
Gone.
So, Tsurugisho, I love seeing your name here on the Banzuke. It's nice and clean. But I don't expect to see you again. Yeah. So, best of everything for you.
If he shows back up and he puts weight on that knee...
I'm going to like...
What? Who did... What?
I'm going to be like, okay, and I quit.
I don't know.
This is too weird.
I don't know physics anymore, guys.
Yep, I don't know. I question everything I ever thought I knew. So, we had a bunch of guys go to Juryo. Was Miyogiru the one that you didn't think was going to get knocked down?
Miyogiru was the one that I picked on. I'm like, no, everyone's wrong. We're going to keep Miyogiru.
Okay, gotcha.
I knew, like, in my heart of hearts, I knew he was gone.
But you didn't want that.
I didn't. No.
It's like an ISP when it's actually your guy and another guy, and you know
ride or die. I rode or died on Aoyama almost every time.
Same with me at Takakeisho. I'm like, even if I think he's gonna lose this match, I can't pick against him.
Can't.
So it's the same thing. Like you didn't want to pick against him.
When there was the match, it was Takakeisho versus Tochinoshin. And it was the Ozeki Wake one, and so it's like if Tochinoshin loses this, he loses Ozeki, he loses everything. In the back of your mind, you're like, Takakeisho's gonna beat him. I was 7-7, in ISP.
And you picked Ochinoshi.
And in the back of my mind, I'm like, we're going down together, buddy. You and me. I picked him and I lost.
You're like, but you know what? It was the right move.
That would be a filthy victory.
It would. You would feel dirty.
No, I am not winning off of that man's blood.
Oh, what a significant moment that was in sumo too. Oh, sometimes you want to go back and just experience it for the first time again.
Fresh again. Well, we get new sensations.
Exactly. So in our Juryo, we have Dayamami, Myogiru, Endo, Shimazumi, which I don't know if we're gonna see him again, and Kito Nawaka all down.
Yep, they're right here. So this is what the top of Juryo looks like. We're in an interesting spot now that like all of the new hotness have rushed ahead. So this large chunk
is just like aging veterans.
It's the veterans and the mains and the hold-ons are now in the top position to come back up. So like it's like we have to like rechurn Juryo to get the new hotness up here. But speaking of,
we have Tohakuryu. I mean, he was in the class, but he's gotten stuck behind in detention.
He's back in detention. We have Shirokuma.
Yeah, but he got hurt.
He got hurt. Wakataka Kage. So like
We're waiting for that.
Here's our, if we want some hype to come back up, it's about right there. Shishi's trying. I think we need to collectively not put too much pressure on Shishi.
Yeah, he's got a lot.
He's still working it out. Here's Hakuoho, but he's like down here. He needs to win the Yusho if he wants up.
And we didn't see anything that was like Yusho worthy per se.
Yeah. So we've got Aoyama holds on somehow. We got a couple of new people I've never heard of. Again, Koto Tebakari is Makushita 2. So a 4-3-5-2, he's on this list. That'll be fun.
That'll be fun. We're waiting.
We're waiting. But yeah, we're at a spot that's sort of like all the people, all the hype is up in the top. And so we've still got Hakuoho, we've still got Wakataka Kage, we've got our eyes on down here, but like outside of that, like all the prospects, they still have to climb though. So,
right, and you got some aging veterans.
Some veterans, and
is this your new dwelling?
There is Asakoryu here, but this is we'll see.
It's retirement central right there.
Yeah, there's a lot of people probably going down. All right, so that's the 42.
Got to do our predictions. Do we want to do a wish list? Do we have any wishes?
Good sumo. Like, there's nobody's on a run. All the people who are near the bottom, we sort of like either we're resigned to our fate or sort of just glad you're here.
Right. So I mean, I could wish for everybody to be healthy. No horrible.
Minimum number of injuries possible.
Do we have any hopes for Terunofuji, or are we already given up on him?
Well,
do we want him to like miraculously come back and win his 10th show? Or are we just kind of like,
If he shows up in May, it'll be the last time we see him.
Right.
If he skips May for July, then it's going to be all on that.
Right.
So if you see Terunofuji day 1, drink it in. Because then after that, I mean, he may not retire immediately. Like he may sort of, he may hold off for July.
Right, do the tours and stuff.
Do the tours, do the media press, sort of retain the rank, and then possibly give it to the end of the year for somebody else to get the belt, or just go in September.
Yikes. I do
We're
not.
there. We're there.
Yeah.
We're there.
So there's nothing for the wish list, really, just the typical... Nobody
get injured. Let's see some good sumo, some scandal-free sumo.
Scandal-free, really good matches.
Yep.
And then we'll have wish lists for July because some guys are going to emerge from this tournament.
There's gonna be some unanswered questions.
So I want you to pick your Yusho winner first.
I go first. That is okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we can't pick Takayasu.
Nope.
Okay. So
disqualified.
I gotta look at the other 41. So I'm not feeling any weird craziness from the bottom of the Banzuke. So I'm going to be looking upwards. I think it's going to come from over here. It would be cool for a back-to-back, but I don't trust that ankle on Takerufuji.
Yeah. I don't trust it either.
I don't trust it. I'm gonna go for a little crazy. I'm gonna say Onosato gets it.
Oh, I like it.
I'm gonna say Onosato sees the moment
And goes for it.
and starts an Ozeki run. I was gonna pick Asanoyama.
Until we now know.
Until I was just like Asanoyama ride or die. I was gonna do it, and then they're like, he injured again. I'm like, oh.
I am not gonna do this to myself.
Well, it's not worth picking. He's not gonna win. You can't pick someone you know is not gonna win.
I know, it's no fun.
Throwing that out there, it didn't work. I feel like the smart money would be an Ozeki Yusho.
That would be the smart money.
So do you want to pick smart or do you want to pick crazy?
I think I'm gonna pick smart because, like you said, there's nothing exciting right now. Takerufuji would have been a good pick if not for the ankle. I'm just trying to decide, like, is it Kotozakura's time, or is Hoshoryu gonna? I feel like it's gonna be Hoshoryu, and I just feel like it's uncle energy.
Okay,
he's gonna be extra motivated to win because, whatever's going on, he knows more than any of us as far as like. That's a situation, like that's treatments, that's surgeries, that's a thing that goes on for a long time. So I feel like Hoshoryu would want to go out there and like, I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you a reason to fight harder. So I'm going with Hoshoryu.
All right.
For uncle's sake.
Yeah, I think any of the three Ozeki, one of them is going to, at minimum, be in the race, if not all three.
You would hope.
Yeah. I think Kirishima may be the outside pick, but Hoshoryu is sort of probably the most likely.
Yeah. I feel like I gotta like hurry up and get to Japan before Takekeisho retires. I gotta like show up. I just gotta like show up to stable practice or something. I'm like, I have to meet you before you disappear.
No. Go to his stable in 10 years.
Yes.
He'll have elder stock. Then he'll do. You know how they are. The stable masters, they got the cushion. They sit on the stage.
That's true. You get to see him way more.
And that's the thing. Like I think Gagamaru had a video on his YouTube channel that he went and he visited one of the stable masters. And
he went and visited Hakuho's stable.
It was Hakuho. That might have been the one I saw.
And they were just chilling.
What happens is that they show up, they're doing training. Hakuho's job is to sit there and stare at them for the whole morning. And so
yell at them.
And so him and Gagamaru are just gonna shoot the breeze for 3 hours hanging out.
I'm like, I will give you the biggest donation ever. Will you please just let me watch?
So no, that's what you do. You show up, you go in. It'll be the whatever elder stock name he has stable. Mm-hmm. He'll just be sitting there. He'll look completely different because he would have lost 200 pounds.
Right.
And he'll just be sitting there. He'll be staring at people. He'll be mean mugging it. And then you'll be on that back wall.
Yep.
And you'll just be watching everything. You see, he'll point at somebody. And he won't say anything. He'll just point, and they'll know what that means. I could see it. So
I can't wait, man. I just can't wait.
That'll be the energy.
Well, I felt the need to just bring him back up again because it's like we can't even talk about him being in the Yusho race anymore. So we're just gonna talk about him playing video games with Daisho and me getting to meet him when he's a coach.
So I think there's one more cup left in him.
Really?
Takakeisho can get one more Yusho out of him.
If he gets one more Yusho, I will throw the biggest party that's ever existed because I'll know it's the last one. No
more Yokozuna runs for him.
No.
We can't put him through that anymore.
But a Yusho we can.
Yeah. So like, fix the pectoral.
Yep.
Get the neck in a good enough state.
Just wear a neck brace.
Just like cover the entire back in tape, whatever it takes.
And then only use the one arm that works.
I think he can put together enough crazy things to get one more cup. Then he gets the cup, he lifts it, and then
he retires.
Day after.
We need that kind of ending for Takakeisho. I think so.
I think that's in there. I think it's in the cards. And now, keep this in mind. He may not be Ozeki when he does it.
True.
But I think he may do the Goedo thing though.
He might just say, if I'm losing Ozeki, I'm out. I don't know.
Don't know. But
for
now, it's fine. For now, show up in May or don't. Your choice.
It's funny though, because I feel like there are a lot of Takekeisho fans and our subscribers because they come here because of us talking about Takekeisho.
We like him. That's what we do.
What can we do? All right, guys, it's been fun. As you know, there will be live streams coming up. There might be an extra one as well. So stay tuned to the community tab, which is the only way I can get any messages to you guys. And we're going to have a lot of fun this tournament. No matter what, we're going to enjoy it.
Put your Yusho bets in the comments.
Please do. We want to see who's going to be right this time. Yeah. 42 of you make comments with a different guy.
We'll get it.
Somebody will get it.
Inevitable.
So anyway, enjoy. Glad to talk to you guys again, and let's have fun.